Do this. Fucking A every time. Hey everybody, this is Kevin at Podcastforwe. I'm K-Dog here. That's Eber over there, also known as Eb-Dog. This is a podcast expressly for all the cool people out there. You know what? I'm expecting it to switch over, but it didn't because I forgot it doesn't do that anymore. That's so off-putting.
Fired.
You can make your screen big too. I didn't even notice that until just now. Well, anyway, it's a podcast where we talk about the great things in life, like life and liberty and the pursuit of happiness. Also some nerd talk. You can get us on the Spotify, YouTube, fucking SoundCloud, fucking everything. We're there.
Morse code, skywriting,
Morse code, telegraph, fucking smoke signal from First Nations people or whatever. All right, let's get into it. How you been?
Been all right. Doing online trainings and shit. I should be enjoying my summer break, but I'm working. Feels like I'm working nonstop. It's all good.
Oh yeah, I figured you'd be on vacation or something.
Yeah, last day of school was the 4th or the 5th. I've been working stints still. But it's all good. What about you? What you been up to?
Biking. Been doing this biking thing. I've been doing 7 miles a day. It's pretty good.
Jesus.
Yeah, well, it's good now because of the weather. It's not as hot and humid. When it was humid, it was like really bad.
Yeah, I don't know if I could do. Well, no, I could probably do 5. I used to do 5 right here around the airfield.
I don't think you know what you're saying. I think you can do more than 5.
Maybe, I don't know.
I mean, like you think you can do it, but I think it's more of a because like I'm not getting after it cardio wise and stuff, and I haven't worked out in about a good month or two. So, and I get real like if I don't work out, man, it's hard. So, and like I was just going out there, and I was like, it took a mile to get to the track or the trail that we do. And fuck yeah, I could do it. And so I do it. And then I come back and I look back at it. I'm like, oh shit. I thought that was only like a mile. I didn't know it was 3 miles because it had markers.
Is it off-road? Is it dirt biking?
It's a fucking straight shot. So that's why it's easy.
But is it paved or is it dirt?
It's paved. It's paved.
Okay.
So that's probably why. Like I think if you're biking like a paved road, you're good. I think if it was up and down, I think that would be too much.
Yeah, my brother started biking up in the hills where he lives.
Yeah, that's a different beast, though. That's a different beast. You know, because I go up a hill, I'm like fucking dying. This is straight. Anyways, let's talk about Loki. You watched it?
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Okay, good. All right. So Loki season 1, episode 2. Go.
First thing I thought was fucking Kevin, man. He was right.
What? That it was a girl? Or what? I was right about a lot of things. Like what?
Girl antagonist, girl Loki.
Yeah.
I wasn't.
I'm surprised she's white.
Yeah.
I expected a black lady.
We'll see where they go with it. I mean, I've been pretty pleased with all the other directions they've gone with things, but I don't know. We'll see. She looked like a cosplayer to me, though.
You know what though? When I saw her, because I have images of Loki in my head, like from the comics, and she did look like Loki. She had this little helmet,
little mini horns.
Yeah, and I've seen that before in other comics, but he was a dude in those ones. I've seen Chick Loki a couple of times, but Chick Loki was more of a thing where he would transform or he would possess a body, like he enchant the lady. And I thought, hey, you know what? I was cool with it. The way she talked, it was funny. You would figure she'd have a British accent, kind of like him, but I guess she was going American. But that lady's British.
So they're going backwards.
I don't know why not just keep it British? I mean, like, why not? Like, I mean, why bother? But whatever.
There's a lot of that, or they get American actors to do British accents and British actors to do American accents.
I know, but for why? You know what I mean? Like, because so you got Loki, right? And he's doing his British accent, and you know what I mean? Like, it just stands to reason she'd do it too. because she normally talks like that.
He might not be Loki though.
Well, okay, here's I wanted to go through the episode, but like, let me talk about that for a second. So why do you think she goes, don't call me that? I have two theories.
She might be another version of Loki, but not that Loki in the future, or she's a variant from a time that they already snipped or something, you know?
Yeah. I
She
think
might not be the Loki from his timeline.
I think our theories kind of coincide, but it's more of an ego thing on my end. I was thinking, okay, so like everyone keeps calling her the Loki variant, but okay, so say this is a Loki that was born as a female. Odin wouldn't just be like automatically be like, let's call her Loki. He'd call her something else, you know, like it's like Cindy. And so she's like the number one in her head because she's Loki or whatever. She's number one. So everyone should be a variant of her, but everyone's calling it Loki, and it's kind of like, don't call me that, you know, because you should be a variant of me. And so if
I am no one's bitch.
Yeah, so like if I like say it's Susan, you're the Susan variant or something like that. That I mean, like the aggravating thing of that is because like, it's like all these Lokis are taking over, and they're all variants of a Loki or whatever, and it's her, and she's the one doing like what she thinks is the most havoc, but everyone's calling her the variant of the other people. So she's like, what the fuck? What about me?
Do you think they were influenced at all by Rick and Morty? And all the multiple
What do you mean? What do you mean?
All the multiple Ricks.
Okay. What do you mean?
Maybe this idea of, just multiple ones, and then one of them wanting to be like the Rick, or one of them being the Rick.
I don't even think so. I mean, like it maybe, but I doubt it. I mean, those are like the ideas that exist already, like alternate realities.
That's what I'm saying. Like, do you think they were influenced by that?
Not even.
No?
Not even close. Not even. And Rick and Morty is a conglomerate of all sci-fi. You know, it's almost like an outside perspective of sci-fi itself. So it subverts sci-fi in itself. Okay. I don't think the people making this show is of that ilk. I can't see them doing that. You know what I mean? Like, I mean, if they want to emulate Rick and Morty, I think they would fail miserably. So I
wouldn't say emulate, but you think,
even get that nothing. I can't see them trying to.
I quoted Jet Li earlier too.
I know from the one. I get it. Yeah. I'm nobody's bitch. Yeah, at the very end when he kicks everyone. Yeah. I got it. I moved past it real quick.
Well, I get. No, well, what I'm pointing out is you're right. It is something that's been explored before.
Yeah, many a time, man. That's like a normal in the comics and other mediums. I mean, Rick and Morty is basically like all of them put together, right? That's what it feels like. And they just take all these genres and then turn it upside down. They even take the narrative structure of a story, turn it upside down.
Right.
You know, with the train one.
Yeah, the train.
Like, I mean, like, fuck, dude. Like they turned story into concepts and then made that the train. And I was like, what the fuck? I'm like, oh, we're caught in the part of the story where it's this, and that. And I was like, I've always had those feelings when I watch Rick and Morty. Like this is or not Rick and Morty, but shows or movies.
Yeah.
Oh, this is the part where the hero's falling and they're going to get back up. And they do it.
They have a fight, they're going to separate and then they're going to reconcile and join forces to defeat the bad guy.
Yeah, basically. But they did that in an episode. So, I mean, like, that's light years away from what we're watching. Loki's really good. I love this show, man. That season 2, or episode 2, it's like, I was like, that first episode could have been a fluke, but that second episode, there's a scene where they're shooting the shit, Owen Wilson, and that
was a good scene.
It was like, I felt like a lot of that scene could have been trimmed down to get to the point, but I needed it.
Yeah, it was time with the characters to kind of hear their perspectives, to try and gauge Loki and see, like, does he believe what he's saying, or is he just trying to play, Mobius? What are his motivations here? What are his
I don't know, man. I genuinely felt like they were like friends almost in that respect. When he said, and there you go saying that again, when I'm starting to admire your intelligence. So he says that to him. So he compliments him and then calls him stupid at the same time. But it just seems like within the character, like he can't even open himself up but he does by accident. And I think that's one of those moments. And like, that was cool. They created a filler moment and they linked it to the overall story, but it was a filler moment, but it was really good. It's what you're supposed to do with fillers. Unlike Naruto, where you have fucking storylines that go
I don't
nowhere.
know if I would just call it filler if they never come back to it again, or it doesn't serve any purpose in terms of moving the character forward or moving their relationship forward.
But that's what fillers are supposed to be. That's
No,
the thing.
Filler's just supposed to fill.
No.
Make time.
Filler is exactly.
A good. I don't want to call it a good filler because filler has such a negative connotation, but
now it does. It wasn't like that before. Fillers, they were just episodes. Like if you watch Star Trek, and there's like 26 episodes a season, there literally is filler episodes, but they're not really filler. It's just the way it is. Now it's become a thing where it's called filler, which wasn't a thing. So this right here was one of those moments where they didn't have to have it, but you kind of do to give you those moments that make it's the reason why I say like Attack of the Clones, where I'm in love, Star Wars I'm in love, but you really didn't earn any of that, right? You didn't really create any filler moments. You didn't create all you did was just put them in scenes.
See, what I wouldn't call it filler, I'd call it development. I mean, it's action. I mean, it is action. They're not running around that kind of action, but
that's true.
It is changes and things happening in perspective being presented. I don't know. I think we're getting hung up on the definition of what filler
You're right.
is, but I think we both acknowledge that it was time that was spent with the characters. They weren't out hunting this other Loki, but it was an opportunity to kind of see a little bit more of their perspectives.
No, I agree.
And how they bounce off of each other.
I know for a fact you could have cut that part out, made it shorter, and it would have worked. But it would have done us a disservice. And there's a lot of moments in shows and movies that there's parts that aren't there. And it's because they're afraid of exploring these characters in this way. Because really nothing was happening. Like it was between two characters. And it was my favorite part. I'm just saying. But there was nothing happening. There were just two cops just, talking and then linking into something at the tag part at the very end where he goes, oh, he's hiding, or I don't know. He goes, you're smart. And then they move on. Like when they go into the overarching story at the very end, it really was a thing in which it kind of tacked on at the end, and it feels organic, but it really is just tacked on. I think the meat of that part, that scene when those two characters are talking, is develop the characters, and I think they did it very cleverly too, because they just linked it to the main arc, and I think you could have just took that part out and it would have worked.
Fucking Riggs and Murtaugh going to the subway, and then getting screwed over at the subway. You could have clipped that whole scene out.
Yeah.
But it gives you a moment with those characters,
And that's why those movies are good.
It gives you an opportunity to see the characters being friends and doing normal shit like you and I, and kind of give it an opportunity to identify with them.
It's different writing though, because when you watch the Avengers, there are not moments like that. When you watch an Avengers movie, there's quick moments like when they're just kind of shooting shit really quick, but there's nothing where it's two characters, like seriously, just two characters, they're talking and they're going back and forth. And there's like the conversation itself has arcs to it. It's not just like from point A to point B. They literally are going up and down, and then it just kind of tags on to the next thing. I mean, in my head, I'm thinking about Captain America, between Black Widow and Captain America in the truck, but that's nothing. There's nothing in comparison to this. This is so much better writing. Like it's just better.
Yeah, I don't know. I would probably say Age of Ultron had plenty of it.
It did and it didn't. Think about it. They'll really think about it. Between the characters talking and such, it really did feel like they were just bouncing off of each other. But like in comparison, I'm not taking away from those movies. I'm saying it's good. But like when you see these two characters, they're literally just sitting down and they're drinking coffee. And then like there's two of these scenes too, but they're really good. They're well done. Like he's showing him the example of the Ragnaroks and shit. They're talking like that's a thing. And then they do it again and they're just sitting there just, right after they came up with this, they're reviewing it. I mean, they literally created two little filler points in the middle is them trying to figure shit out. You know what I mean? Like he's like talking about the apocalypse events and he's doing the thing with the salts, which is one of my favorite parts. Then they go to research, nothing happens. And then they go into to them just talking again. Like that's 2 scenes. And like
I do remember watching that scene and thinking, this is good. This is really
yes. Yes,
you know,
it was way different. It's what's needed. And I feel like a lot of the other movies needed that. But it like you have a movie, you need action, you need all this shit happening.
It's because so far nothing really feels contrived. Like we're doing this thing,
I agree,
and we're making the characters do things to get to this set piece or this other outcome. That it's really been guided by their decisions that they've been making over time.
I know.
My only problem is that this is still the Loki from the very end of Avengers.
I have thoughts on that too.
It's just I feel like his turn was still a little too quick, but I'm down with it. I'm down.
Has he turned really?
See, but that's the other thing too. He's still that Loki. So has he turned, or is he pretending to turn like he does so many other times with Thor?
See, I was watching this with my wife, and she was pointing out some stuff I didn't even think about it on that side. She goes, for every time he's doing whatever he's doing, I keep thinking he's the Loki from our time, right? But because so he's oh man, dude, the scene when he's reading Ragnarok, he's reading Ragnarok, and he starts crying, and I'm like, the fuck, he was there, No, but he wasn't there.
I had to explain that to my girlfriend too. Yeah, no, he wasn't there. That's him realizing that it's true that all this shit happened.
Yeah, and because of him. Yeah. Well, because he knows he's the one who caused it. Because if he had thrown out Odin to whatever, Odin dies, what's his name comes, and then you have to cause Ragnarok to kill the sister. Anyways, no,
well, he hadn't done that either, though. He just saw that shit in that video.
But he would have. It is his fault. He would. He knows, and he knows. That's what makes this Loki awesome, because we know what he can be, kind of like, we've been through him, but he's not that guy, and he will grow from there. From Avengers to Thor 2, he is a different character, and from Thor 2 to Thor 3, he is a different character.
Well, this starts going to like nature versus nurture, right?
Okay.
The set of experiences that he went through after Avengers, the interactions with Thor and all those adventures that they went on, is what made him Loki sacrificing himself, making the sacrifice play against Thanos. This is a different Loki. He hasn't gone through those experiences. He's going through a totally different set of experiences now. So how is he going to come out at the end of this one?
But I mean, and that's a philosophical thing, right? Because
I would like to scientific thing. It's just different variables, different outcomes.
You could say that one person could be punched in one day, and another person could be punched, and the nature and nurture, it takes over. And one would say most people who punched in this situation would do this, but there's always that variant that will do something different.
But again, here it's different punches.
It is different punch. I agree, but we don't know
in this story. We don't know.
And this is the philosophy of Loki, and this is the philosophy of a person. Giving a set of different conditions, is this person the same person? We're talking about the soul at this point, like if this is a thing in which, and like this is not even a thing that has been answered to this day. We could always say, yeah, it's nature that developed, and for the most part it is, but then there's always those fucking people where nature should have did something to them and they just went a different direction. They should have been an alcoholic, but for some reason they're not. Or they should have done this, but they're not. They're doing it differently. They were always going to be that for all we know. We don't know.
Right.
So it's the nature of a person. I think that's cool. And you could explore that. Where the writers land, we'll know what they want, what they think people should be, what they aspire to be. Will this Loki then be a good guy at the end of it? Because if he is, that means then all them Lokis have that potential.
Now, do you think Loki is redeemable?
Oh man, he's killed for thousands. How long he's lived for? 1,000 years.
Well,
he's been killing a lot.
I watched the beginning of Avengers and I'm like, He killed
He
that
ki-
guy. He killed that
And
guy.
he killed that. He ripped that dude's eyeball out.
He ripped that dude's eyeball out. And then I was thinking, okay, so Scarlet Witch didn't kill anybody.
She just abused them.
She just, enslaved their mind.
Enslaved them. Yeah.
But
we're all aboard with, I mean, like, but what she did isn't as bad as what Loki is, though. Loki is a different character altogether.
Oh yeah, that's what I feel like she's more redeemable than Loki. I think
that's a rough go to say that. You know what I mean?
Well, let's say we're applying the justice system to them. We're sending them to court. Who do you think should get the harsher sentence?
Well, in a court setting, then you mean harsher? They should both be put to death. I don't know, because let me throw this out. There are things that people do now that are terrible things, worse than death, I would say, and they don't get the death penalty.
Yeah.
They don't even get life in prison.
But that's not my question. My question is,
but like, what kind of a
harsher sentence?
What is a harsh sentence, though? You know what I mean? Like, me personally, I think
justice is death. Don't play politics. It's an easy question. Who gets the worst sentence? We don't even have to say what the sentence is. Who should get a worse punishment?
Well,
Loki,
I mean, like,
or Scarlet Witch.
Well, I mean, like, for when you're asking that question to me, it's not a thing, and I'm not trying to politicize this. I'm not trying to dance around the bush. Me personally, I think death is the ultimate judgment, right? I'm not a guy who's like people should be in prison and then reform. That's not me. I never thought that was a thing. I think you should die, period. So when you do something like really shitty, like egregious, so all roads lead to Rome. Like how do I want Loki? I want them both to die in that respect. I mean, like, no, I want them to be redeemed. Of course, that's me. That's the good in me. But if we're talking about a harsh sentence, we're talking Kevin's prison system. Like, you go to my court, if you're found guilty, you're dead. Now, like, if this is a thing and you stole something, I guess we could talk it out. But if you're like doing things like, like, I know killing things is a bad thing, but there's other things out there that are worse. And if you're doing those things, I think you should die too. So, I mean, like, death, not given to the pleasure of torturing somebody, because that's not justice. I think death is death. And so when you say a harsher sentence, I'm saying death, right? So, you know what I mean? Like, I think they should both die. So is that an equality? I don't know what to say. Who should die worse? Who
should die a worse death?
See that? I'm not there, but I'm saying, like, if it's what's worse, okay, all right. For our audience, death is death for me. I'm not all about torture, not all about all this stuff. The quickest death you could get, boom, done. Because it's dude, done. But if, like, we're doing playing the game of who did it worse, let's think. I think Loki should get the worse sentence. Yeah, because he's done more over time than what she's done. She's done some bad shit in her little bit of time, but it doesn't quantify 1,000-year-old bad guy.
Right.
You know what I mean? 1,000 years of bad doesn't equal to this guy. I mean,
plus, all the people that got killed in the first 4.
Yeah, just that alone. So yeah. He's worse than her. He is, but that's not to take away from her. But all roads lead to death in my world. So.
But see, like, I wonder what would have happened to Loki. They were going to go to Earth, so what would have happened to Loki when they got to Earth? They were on their way at the end of Ragnarok. They're on the ship, and Thor says, "All right, Earth it is."
Oh, and okay.
They started going to Earth.
They totally forgave that guy.
I mean, but what would Earth say? Okay, Loki's here. There's a lot of people that he killed.
It's tricky, right? When it's complicated because you're talking about Earth. We're in a world that's weird, right? I mean, O.J. Simpson just made a Twitter remark, and he's razzing people for fucking, I don't know, cheating on their wives or whatever. Meanwhile, this guy ripped the fucking head off.
Yeah,
like that, and he's around. Casey Anthony choked her kid to death. The only reason they couldn't fucking get her is because jurors needed to see it actually happen. I mean, there's no way on earth you're going to get the actual. I mean,
technically, she was acquitted, right? So she's an innocent person. But yeah,
exactly. But that's the world we're living in. So you're talking to a group of people, and this is not just the OJ and Casey Anthony. All these, there's hundreds of cases like this all around the meme of us. So us as people understand that what is the fuck is justice? So you get this rapist who gets to get out of prison. Right.
I get that. But here, I mean, this is like a 9/11,
Yeah.
level event that he planned. So this would be like Osama bin Laden,
Should have been
landing at
taken
the
to trial.
airport in New York and saying, "Hey guys, are we cool?"
And what did we do
No,
with him? We killed him.
right?
So
What
like,
can
you know
we
what I
do?
mean? You know what I mean? Like we can't even in our own time have justice on something that's so simple. Like you would have thought he would have been taken alive. No, they just killed him. And then they threw his body into the sea. I mean, like, what the fuck? Like we've got people that put people in dungeons and do hellacious things to them and murder them and eat them. And so what happens to those people? They go to jail. But Osama bin Laden causes a war of all untold things. And what do? We just kill him and throw him in the ocean. But what about Dungeon Guy? I think he's way worse.
Well,
But
I mean
why
that
can't we kill him and throw him in the
I
ocean?
I was kind of glad that they threw him in the ocean because then they didn't have to bury him anywhere or do negotiations over the
I
body or
agree.
anything, and
I hear you.
basically give all of the fanatics, a place to go and worship him.
But the good guy, being a good guy isn't about doing what, like, oh yeah, this is, if we do this, we do that. What's being a good guy? Doing what's right. He should have went to court. I mean, we are of that people, I thought at one time. Ever since we've been doing these kinds of weird things where we're just going to wars and
I think
shit.
technically he shot at them. I mean, that per their report. I mean, who knows?
Who knows?
But
we got shit on Mars, but for some reason
says that he shot at them. And
hey
so
man, we have fucking robots on Mars, and we couldn't fucking get a guy out of a desert. I mean, like
No,
they got what's his name?
Saddam. Yeah, but
Saddam.
He was unarmed in a fucking spider hole.
That's all we know. I mean, like, I'm just saying. I mean, like, you would think that guy would be the guy you get alive. We couldn't even keep Epstein alive. You know what I mean? We had him dead to rights. Couldn't keep him alive. This world's weird. Everybody knows it. So back to this movie. You got this movie, right? And you're talking about justice. Justice is fucking weird. How can we, the people, understand what justice is? You know what I mean? So with Loki, he comes back to Earth. Us with our fucking crazy way of thinking. Us, the people, the viewer, it makes sense. Hey, fuck it, forgive him. Fuck it, right?
You know what? Just thinking about it right now, I thought I had read somewhere that people were trying to make the argument that he was under the influence of the Mind Stone, like that they infected him and then had him do their bidding, and that was going to be the out, to excuse all the shit that he did.
Man, I guess, man.
That's not official yet. I mean, but that was like a theory that I read. I don't remember.
But Loki's killing people in Thor 1.
Props to whoever put that out there, but that does give the writers a way out.
It kind of does. You could do anything. You could write anything out. So we're just going on the data that we have. When you start going to speculation like that, it's kind of weird, right?
Yeah. Well, I mean,
he write anything.
He did send that laser face thing down in Thor 1 too. So
that's what I'm saying. He killed people in Thor 1. Yeah. He got people killed in Thor 1. Shit, dude.
Well, he started a damn war.
Oh, I know. And then he uses the Rainbow Bridge to kill his own people. I'm pretty confident he didn't kill one person. He killed a lot. That's his own people. So whatever. Fuck ever. So anyways, Loki comes to Earth. I really think no one's going to do anything. Because it's Asgard, right? Because they let him go the one time.
Yeah, I don't know that he's ever going to come back into the time stream. I think he's going to stay with the TVA.
Yeah, well, what does it matter? Because you know what I mean? Because it's the TVA.
I think that's Tom Hiddleston's out, though. I think that's just going to be it.
I think he could play that character forever. It's not like he doesn't have to work out for it, even though he is like Adonis, Well, anyways, I don't even know how we got here. Loki is a bad guy. What the fuck are we even getting? I thought we were talking about the show.
Yeah, we are talking about the show, but I'm looking a little bit farther out, like, because you see that Loki has remorse. You see that he regrets what his future actions were.
Okay.
So, but this is still the Loki from Avengers. So should we be treating him? I guess he's an anti-hero. We call him that. Should we be rooting for him?
Well, of course we should, because he's our protagonist. I mean, you're kind of rooting for the protagonist. You hate. I mean, sometimes you're not. And I think that's the writer is not good at writing. If you're rooting for the protagonist, you're good.
No, I think you can have a protagonist that you don't root for. The protagonist is
You're right. You can, but good writing makes you. That's the point of it.
No,
that's the point of centering.
I think really good writing takes you on a ride with the protagonist that you're not rooting for, but that
that's an easy go though. It's easier to make a No, it is. It is. What are you talking about? All you have to do is have him just kill babies, fucking for 2 hours straight. Then what the fuck? Why would you even care? You don't care because it's badly written.
Babies. Thanos wasn't killing babies. He was the protagonist of Infinity War.
He was killing lots of babies. He was killing half the babies in the universe.
Show him killing babies though.
That's what he was. No, but you are rooting. Are you rooting for Thanos? I don't even know.
No, you're not. You're not rooting for Thanos.
No, but are you? Like you, as you're watching it, I'm not rooting for him.
No, I'm wondering. I'm on his journey though. I'm like, how is he going to either accomplish his goal, or what decisions is he going to make that makes him fail?
Well, leave it to the audience. I mean, like seriously, I don't know. I don't have enough bandwidth to figure this out, because I think it's easier to make a protagonist you hate, and I think it's infinitely harder.
Not hate. It's just somebody who fucking Breaking Bad. He's the protagonist.
You're rooting for him,
right?
And you're rooting for him.
Not by the end. By the end, you're like, no,
That's what somebody's. No, that's somebody who wants to. I don't know if you ever watched Death Note, but there's two people of thinking. You know, there's the people who think they think out loud and they think what everyone should say. But there's the reality of what they think. I mean, the reality of what people think is that guy. You want him to succeed every time. You don't like his actions. You wish he didn't do it, but you're rooting for him to win. I mean, that's. No one's watching Breaking Bad and thinking, even at the end, even as he's dying, you know, spoiler. Nobody's thinking, oh man, dude, totally. I hope he gets his revenge. Everybody's rooting for him, dude.
I'm wondering how he's gonna get his. I'm like, this character cannot. He can't keep going.
But you're rooting for him. There's no one wishing his death. Even at the end of it, you're not wishing for his death.
I am more sympathetic towards him than I am like towards somebody like that.
Yeah, no. I mean, like just like what's it? American Psycho. You're still rooting for that guy, even though he's eating people and shit. He's pretty fucked up, but you're rooting for that character. I mean, there's like infinity characters that you're rooting for if they're the protagonist. To hate them. I mean, like
no, I'm not saying hate, but somebody that you acknowledge that should be punished or should end up losing in the end.
Yeah, you can have two thoughts at the same time.
I never said. Oh, I don't think I said hate.
I kind of simplified it because you can disagree with somebody and still like them and wish for the best. That's a real thing. I mean, that's because we're people. We're not dolphins. We're people. People can wish for someone to succeed and still not like the things that they do.
Okay, how about put it to this way then? Just the villain can be a protagonist.
Of course, that's what we're talking about.
Right. But I guess that's what the meat of what I was saying.
Yeah, no, he is the protagonist and we're rooting for him, even though he's a bad guy.
I don't know if I'd say rooting like.
Oh, there is no okay, other than you, bar you. Everyone's wanting Loki to win at the end of this.
But were we rooting for Thanos?
That's different though. You know why I say that is because that's good writing. I have to say that's really good writing. No, seriously, that is really good writing because at that time I'm not rooting for him. I don't want him to win, even though he wins and everything. I'm good with that. Even if he lost, I would have been good with that. Loki's different though. You really like the character. You like him. You want him to win. You can't want him to die. That's a weird thing. You're weird.
Yeah, I guess I do like him, but unfortunately the like comes from the experiences that come after Avengers.
No, of course. But I mean, you got to earn it, dude. You just can't make a character and enjoy a bad guy protagonist. That's not a thing. But if you're really good at writing, I mean, shit, you know? And like, you're right. With the Loki, we have, they have that all back catalog, and then you got your Loki now. So of course there's that. I don't know if there's anything out there that's so good at writing where you just fucking love that character and you're wishing the best, even though they're the bad guy. There's in a movie. In a show, you could do that because you have longer time to build for that character. But for a movie, it's way harder.
Yeah, I mean, I remember watching Avengers and kind of thinking, they didn't kill the bad guy.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh, yeah. You mean when Thanos lives and he wins?
No, I'm talking about Avengers.
Oh, you mean Loki? Yeah, you're right. Up to that point, they had been killing all the bad guys. Yeah, all of them. Well, I mean, Thor's the only one. Yeah, no, they killed every single bad guy up to Avengers. Think about it. Iron Man, Stone dude, he dies. I guess I don't know. Hulk does it count?
Thor just falls. Hulk.
Loki falls, so he's
Loki
dead.
Falls. And right, and Red Skull gets teleported.
Dead. Because you don't know. You don't at that point. You don't know. We all know, but he's gone. That's it. Yeah, right. That's all of them.
Yeah, but my expectation was, that maybe at the end he would apologize to Thor and then die, but then they let him live. I don't know. I thought it was cool at the time. I thought it was cool. I was like, oh shit.
Yeah. Hey, it works. They yeah. I like Loki. So yeah, we're rooting for the character. That scene where they're just shooting the shit, I thought was great. Hiding in apocalypse events, I thought was cool. Unnecessary, but cool.
I didn't like their logic.
Why?
Because a reality, okay, like let's say you go in and you start doing something new in a reality, just because you did something confined to one space doesn't mean that that it's like a barcode. It's two different ways. Yeah, you end up at the same place, but it doesn't mean that there wasn't a branch in the time stream. It's just there's a branch where Mount Vesuvius explodes, and there's another branch where Mount Vesuvius explodes, and Loki was there. You know what I'm saying?
No, but he's in a spot where it's 100% they have an event. I don't know what it's called, but it's like a level something apocalypse.
It's an extinction level event. Yeah,
there you go.
Yeah. But so
no matter what, that's their MacGuffin. It's everyone's.
So that implies that you could do something to split the timeline, but so long as there's
an apocalyptic
level event, you bring it back together.
No, but there's a time to do it. You can't do it too far out. It has to be within that time.
Wouldn't the end of time be considered an extinction level event?
But we don't see, and they actually, what's funny, they did say that. So how does this all end? They're working on it. So you don't know. So you can't see the end of time. Even though they do say, we'll be here at the beginning, we'll be here at the end. I don't know.
Well, they've already seen it. The problem is right now there's variations. So they're pruning and doing everything because he asked them, well, what are you going to do once everything's under control? It's like, then we'll be done.
As I understand it, there aren't any variations because they're destroying it at the nexus point. So the sacred timeline's the same.
No, but
so every variation is getting taken out.
They're always at work though. They're always at work.
Forever.
So that means that there's other people fucking with time as well.
Yeah, but there's like the TVA.
Yeah, well, but the fact that the TVA is never just like, hey, we're just on chill mode. No, that means that it's not just Loki running around. There's other people that have run around.
Yeah, no, they made that perfectly clear. You're supposed to just assume that this is always happening. A bunch of shit, but this one Loki variant is the one that's like fucking everything up. But everyone else, you're pretty good at catching.
Yeah, I mean, I get time travel's bullshit, right? But again, the thing that I didn't like was, okay, Loki showing up and creating conversations with people that did not exist originally does not constitute a separate branch, even though what happens in that branch just happens to be the destruction, of that town in Italy.
There's no branch. It's the sacred timeline. You can go into the timeline, and as long as the fucking end of everything is happening, they have like that little thing, the deviation meter, right? So what would happen to test the theory out? So when he goes to the Pompeii, right? He goes, look what I'm doing all this shit, and nothing's happening. If his theory was wrong, Homeboy has this thing, and it would have started deviating and started going up. And guess what he would have probably done? Prune the entire area, which would then delete that time period. But and so it could go back to exploding and killing everyone.
Okay. How about this? How close to that extinction
that's
level
where,
event can you get?
Yeah, so there I am. There we are. We're here. So it's like she's hiding an apocalypse. We don't know that yet. I think maybe the third episode we'll know, but it feels like it's as long as it's close. It would be fucking silly if it was within a day, right? Like if it was 24 hours, because how the fuck does that logic work? So you tell the people of Pompeii, hey, you're all gonna die. One person could take a whole day and get the fuck out of there. Be like, hey, this is fucking, that would fuck everything up. So it has to be like really close. I don't know. It looks like an hour or 10 minutes because that's when.
Or so long as nobody gets out of there. So now it's based on people, souls.
No, I have a theory. It's not even an exact measurement. It's the deviation thing. So like, say I'm trying to hide.
How far away it gets from the sacred timeline?
Yeah. So like here I am. I'm trying to hide in the sacred timeline in Ragnarok's, right? I can't go too far back. Me personally don't know if I could go 5 days back. I just know that if I'm close to it, they won't find me. And since I have a fucking device to tell me.
Oh, he has one. Or yeah, she has one.
Yeah. Like since I have a device, I'm like, oh, okay, I could stay at least 20 minutes, 30 minutes. She starts making changes. She just goes right back to where she's at. And she could just like figure it out, over time. They don't know. They could just see little deviations, right? So she's probably testing it out and that's easy. I can see that. And I could even say that it can't be a definitive thing because like if it's an empty world that just explodes, she could just go there. You know what I mean? Because you're talking about all of time and space.
Now, what if she had been hiding in that supermarket, left that supermarket, went to another. Oh no, but that candy was the one that kind of clued him in, huh?
Yeah, definitely.
As being like the more recent place that she was at.
Yeah.
So as she goes there and leaves, do you think she ever runs into herself?
Since it's one whole timeline, that would happen, right? Because she would go there and then come back. Yeah, it could happen, but if she knows where not to be, you know what I mean? Like that would cause a deviation, wouldn't it?
But see, well,
wouldn't it?
Because she has those time bomb things, right? That she's setting up. Because I was thinking, like, what if they caught her, but she had already been there and gone, like multiple times to other places, and they had just caught her
she's not causing time. So they're only catching her because of the deviation. That's the only way. It's not like they could see her, So it's like
yeah. But what I'm saying is, like, what if she went there 10 times and they caught her on the 4th time that she went there? You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So what happens to the 5th, 6th, 7th, 8th, 9th, and 10th time that she was there? I'm talking about like time within time, like the meta travel.
No, I hear you, and it gets a little complicated. But I'm thinking sacred. I'm thinking she's the one person in the sacred timeline. So I don't think she can go back to a fucking time that she's already in that respect, because that would cause a deviation. Because she's there. I'm just bro science in it, but I'm just thinking, would that not cause a nexus point because there's 2 of you in one spot, and that could cause a thing?
Oh yeah, that's true.
It's just, I think once again, it's not a definitive thing because it's all about that deviation. So it's kind of like if I go there and both of us are on the same point and we're like, okay, let's not change anything.
It might create a spike.
But that's too complicated. So you might as well just avoid if you're trying to hide, if you're trying to fucking hide, you just bring up your risk even higher, So when she creates that fucking thing, she had to have done it in one go. You know why? Because of Ragnarok or the apocalyptic event. So she had to make it all at one go. So when she creates like 20 of these things there, she had to have done it in one go.
I'm liking all the rules that they set up.
Yeah,
and
it's kind of like
this conversation. I'm like, you know what?
It's good world building.
They did all right.
Yeah, I'm not even trying really hard to think about it, really, but like the way they did it, it makes sense.
Yeah, my problem was my brain was saying you've automatically created an alternative timeline if you go somewhere and create new events that
But that
didn't
gets,
happen.
and then it would get stamped out.
Not stamped out because that time, if they're looking at it, as the timeline, there's
Mm-hmm.
there's
Mm-hmm.
there's
Uh-huh.
Mount
Uh-huh. Uh-huh.
Vesuvius with Loki and
Uh-huh.
Mount Vesuvius without Loki, but then they come
Uh-huh.
back together.
No, what
So
happens is this. No, here's a sacred timeline, and you make a deviation for whatever reason. And there's a nexus point. Once it passes, they even say it. Once you get
yeah,
past that,
the
you
red
can't
line.
change it, but they never do that. They always erase it. So it goes like this, and then Loki even tried to make it to drag it out to get past that line, and they still fucking delete
Well,
it.
I like that they use the gardening term, pruning and shit
Pruning.
like that, because it's basically you're getting rid of a branch before it becomes something else completely with its own other little branches sticking out.
Yeah,
You
well,
know?
that's the whole key to this whole thing, supposedly. If there's too many timelines and shit, then they'll all fight, for supremacy. And it'll just destroy the main thing. The universe will end. So they think, okay, this is how we're gonna do it. We're gonna keep it like this, make it go that way, and anything deviates, we'll kill it.
But yeah, that happens within trees too, because
Yes, because you would
parts
suck up. Yes,
parts of trees that are exposed to the sun are going to grow stronger and better
yeah,
than the
or
parts that are
something
underneath that
parasitic.
were growing before, but now
Yeah.
they're not growing as much.
I mean, there you go. What did you think about that in the beginning of it when they go to 1985 or whatever the fuck? And I was so baffled by that. So she enchants people. That's her thing. And
I didn't like that they played the "I Need a Hero" song.
why did they do that?
I don't know. It was weird.
I wanted. I was like, when I watched, I was like, oh, this is cool, but why?
The other problem was it was right after the He-Man trailer. We
Mm-hmm.
had just watched it.
But I think these are two unrelated things.
It, obviously, but to me it was like I just heard that fucking song. Why are you using it again? It's like in
Yeah,
TikTok. It's like in
that's you
TikToks and
though.
memes when they use the same fucking thing over and over again. It's like, okay, guys, find something else now, please.
I hear you, but why did they do that though?
I
Like, forget He-Man existed.
I know.
Why
I know.
did they?
The action
Why did
was
they do
good.
that?
Even if He-Man, even if He-Man was, I still wasn't feeling it. I was like, the action was good, but the song makes no sense.
It doesn't. It doesn't at all. I guess it's 1985. I don't know.
Am I supposed to be? Because when you hear that song, whoever's on the screen, you're cheering for him.
I guess. But yeah, that's the point.
That's the right.
But
so
why?
I'm cheering for somebody.
She gets the finger. You see it, so we know that she's being controlled and killing all her buds. So I'm like, what the fuck is happening?
It's not a heroic scene. If anything, it should have been heavy.
And then she gets taken. And I was like, I guess the third episode will figure it out. But she gets taken, and then like, it's real. It's real. She's doing that, and I'm like, why? Well, I think that could be.
I think it would have been stronger with zero music. I think
yes.
I think it should have been music. I think that's really effective. When there's music and there's like an adventure sound. Oh, they do it in Invincible. Spoiler alert, right?
Yeah.
At the end of the first episode, there's music and it sounds, like all justicey and everything.
Yeah.
But as soon as he kills Red Rush, the music stops and there's no more music.
Oh, yeah.
It's just the sounds of bone crunching and blood curdling and all that shit. You're fully in what's happening right there, and it's not romanticized, it's not dramatized, it's raw. It's like you're there and you're watching this shit happen. That's what this scene should have been, because you want to feel bad for these TVA guys that are getting fucking murdered,
I guess.
And you don't, because you're wondering, why are they playing I Need a Hero?
Yeah,
is it supposed to be a fun scene?
Now, I would feel like that's a filler. That right there to me was a filler, because they're just like, I don't know. It was just they were fighting each other. I was like,
well,
okay.
no. The point show that this can take over minds without the Mind Stone.
Yeah.
It just that this Loki has this ability, and they're just setting it up for something later. Who knows? It'll be a callback. There'll be a callback, obviously.
Maybe.
But just just to kind of flesh out the power set, and to show how this Loki's been taking out these teams.
Well, Loki is aware of this power, so that could be a thing where Loki can do.
Yeah.
Yeah, because he goes and he calls it weak and basic.
He might be deluding himself, or he might just be showboating for the rest
Could
of
be.
the crew. He might be like, "Fuck, this is like."
He has telekinesis, though. That's a new power. He has not demonstrated that at all.
Yeah, I didn't like the scene where he's like schooling them on the difference between a projection and a duplicate.
Yeah.
I was like,
whatever.
I like these. Come on, Mobius doesn't fucking know the difference. Give me a fucking break.
I don't think
he calls him
would
Professor
have.
Loki.
Yeah, he doesn't care. And he put him in his place. It was like Loki showing off, and then the Mobius like putting him down. I thought that was good. I think,
Like,
however you wanted to accomplish that, Loki sounding smart, and then Mobius putting him down. That's all that was.
Like, whatever.
Yeah, but it was a good quip though. He was like, he's real quick with it. He goes, okay, like it fucking matters. Like it matter. It doesn't matter. Like everything he said didn't matter. In fact,
well, it doesn't. It doesn't. But to Mobius, it's trivial. To
it
Loki,
is.
it's
No,
not.
it is. It is trivial though.
Yeah.
But it is. It's super trivial. Like who cares? He does magic.
No, those are two really different powers. One is like a projection. You're creating like a hologram image, and the other one is you've created, a real physical thing that you use.
Doesn't matter.
So no, those are difference in power sets. But
I know
Loki
it doesn't.
But
it's
Mobius
like
is just
Superman punching you or running through you. One speed, one strength. Those are two different things, but you're dead.
Yeah, I don't know if a projection can kill you though.
Oh, he can if he stabs you.
No.
And he does that time and time again, where he does a projection of, and then he's actually somewhere else. And then
but that's not a projection that's stabbing you though. It's just a.
No. He's stabbing you, and he's using his projection as a decoy. And there's also him duplicating
I took the
himself.
scene more as like Mobius was just kind of like calling him basically the same thing, and then Loki was just being all super anal about it.
Yes,
like when nerds call out, like plot.
It could have been for the purpose of that. I think it could have been anything. It could have been
yeah. It was just something trivial, and Loki wanted to show how smart he was.
Yes, and then Mobius pushes.
I mean, I wouldn't call it the same thing, but for Mobius, it was like we're just kind of going through these things really quick here. We got time for details.
It wasn't for Mobius. It was for us to realize that Loki does a thing where
he feels like he needs to show off.
And then, but in reality, it doesn't fucking matter. Like he says all this shit, and it just doesn't matter. And then more to the point, when they're in this, when they're in this scene, right in the tent, and then I was fucking there. Loki's like, if you leave that tent, you're gonna die.
I believed him too.
Yeah, dude, it was such a good lie.
I believed him too.
His acting was so good. And then it's like, he's fucking lying. We could just leave the tent. I was like, shit. And then he says,
and then what a subversion was that they left the tent and nothing happened.
Yes, I
fully expected for all hell to break loose when they left the tent.
Yes. When that happened, I was like, I'm fucking gullible, man. I believed everything. And then when he just quickly turned it into nothing.
He got it.
But they made it a thing, right? Loki likes to stall for time. They said it twice too. Yeah. So that's a thing. And like I was like, I wonder if that's a thing that they're gonna explore more of. Like him just stalling for time. I wonder if they took a look at Loki. I wonder, okay, so Tom Hiddleston did a thing when they were making this, because he's an executive producer, so he has weight to what he's saying. He goes Loki-nomics when he's talking to Owen Wilson. When he's talking to everybody, he's explaining what Loki is and how he is. And I thought that was cool. So you're getting it from the source, So like, so when they say that he likes to stall for time, that is Loki or Tom Hiddleston's observation of the character he plays. So when he's doing the thing, that's what he's thinking.
Well, not just not just an observation of the character, but usually a good actor, will create motivations and backstory that's not even in the script.
Yes.
And it becomes like subtext, that you can read even though he's not saying it. And if they're consistent with that, then right now that he's part of the writing, he can say, I never thought of Loki that way. I didn't, when I was preparing myself and putting myself in the mindset to play him. I didn't think of his motivations as being, X. I thought of him as being Y. So we
Well,
got to change the writing to reflect that.
it's a double-edged sword when you have an executive producer like that, because it's like, I mean, okay, so yeah, if he's right, good stuff. But if he's wrong, executive producer kind of trumps everybody else. So, like George Lucas, basically, you know what I mean? Like, if people would have said, let's not do this, Star Wars would have been a different movie, Yeah. But we're good. We're good with what we got. But I hope that if an outside influence says, well, I know what you're thinking, but like, watch, let me prove it to you. Loki does this, this, and this. And then if Tom Hiddleston listens, then we're good. But
and that's, I mean, I don't know if this is Feige, but whoever is managing those disagreements in the writing rooms, or between philosophies, whoever's managing that and getting them to have these discussions, and then really have the characters make decisions that fit the characters and what the actors had intended, or what they used to prep. Whoever's managing that shit, hats off to them, because that's hard. Because sometimes you can get somebody that's really in their camp about how they feel a character should be acting, and then you have somebody else in their camp too, with probably another different set of ideas. Somewhere in the middle, is good writing.
I agree.
And whoever can manage those egos, whoever can manage those disagreements, whoever's been doing that, I think is probably the real hero of the MCU.
All right, so let's see here. We got Loki in the tent. We got Loki looking at the Ragnarok events. I like that whole him seeing it threw me off, but the second go around when I watched it again, I was like, oh, I get that. When he watches the
when
he reads the Ragnarok, record, yeah, I thought that was pretty cool. What else we got? It seems like Loki sucks at fighting. I don't know. He has telekinesis. I know that.
He shouldn't suck at fighting. He's been fighting.
But he's fighting another Loki.
So then he should be even.
I mean, it just depends on how this other Loki grew up.
Well, I mean, you said he sucks at fighting, but I wouldn't say he sucks at fighting.
Well, I know. I mean, watch this episode, and he just gets his ass whooped, even with his telekinesis that he now has.
Doesn't mean he sucks at fighting. He just got beat by somebody that's more
better, I guess. Okay, then there you go. And then which then brings us to this. So you got female Loki, right? Grows up as a chick. I want, in the last episode, I said that she should be exactly like him, but female. But then I was like, you know what? I don't know. Right? You're growing up female, have a different name. Maybe your life is different. Right? Then that, because, I mean,
maybe, maybe she had to do more training to prove herself, because
yes, I mean, like
they have kind of treated her. Maybe they didn't treat her that way.
They're writing in a weird way now. They're writing in a way where it puts them on the, I mean, you're on the edge, right? You don't want to piss off women, right? Women's like, men and women are the same, and then you got, you're transgender, right? They're like, oh no, they're different. They're totally different. Women are different. Men are different. That's why we, that's the thing. So it's like, if Loki is exactly the same, which can't be because this one's doing different shit, then that would then be meaning if Loki was born a woman, they would be like this. And so that therefore you're intimating that, men and women are different,
Well, again, we don't know what experiences they went through.
Exactly. Right? Kinda, maybe. It depends. I mean, like I'm hoping for, I don't know if they're going to do it. It's like literally a montage of this lady's life. So what you would do is like, you could do it with deep fakes or whatever, is like get Avenger movies or whatever the fuck, and then put her in it, and then her acting, and it would be fucking dope, right? Like in this scene, this is what happened, from her point of view. I don't know. They could have done that. So it could have been like, it's the same fucking character, but I don't know. We'll see. I don't know.
I think she's a variant from a timeline that
Well, it has to be dead because there is no the sacred timeline, right?
Yeah.
So there you go. So her timeline is gone. So she might want something like revenge. I don't know, destroy all timelines. I don't even know what happened at the end. She bombed the sacred timeline, creating all these, I guess, branches. I don't know.
Yeah, she sent them. Now, how does bombing a timeline create branches?
Well, because
I thought those things just prune timelines.
They don't have a under. So they don't explain exactly what they're resetting. Are they resetting everything around? Resetting the entire universe? They don't explain it. So we don't know that part of the information. We need to know what that means when they reset. Because it doesn't stand a reason to destroy the entire universe then. Because if she does that within the timeline, the sacred timeline, she effectively just wipes out existence up to those points. So what's the point of that? So it has to be something where it blows up or resets time to an extent. So if you put it in the main timeline and you're erasing things within that time, that area, that would change things, right? So if you put it where fucking, say Thor's doing his thing and you drop one of those fuckers and he's reset it to nothingness, and then
it's almost like she's creating extinction events
exactly
that create new timelines.
It would.
Does that mean that those resetters, that they're localized?
It has to be. It has to be, right? Because if it's the entirety of the universe, then there would be no sacred timeline. There wouldn't be. It has to be in that little area.
No,
well, I mean, if you bring everything to zero, everything, then there's no sacred timeline every time they do that.
No, I mean, but what I understood it is, you have the sacred timeline, and then you have a branch that comes off where
in another universe,
universe.
Okay, but then she just did it to the entirety of the sacred timeline. There's no coming back from that. You know what I mean?
That's what I'm saying. Is she creating? How localized is it, or is
that's what I'm getting at? It has to be local. It has to be localized to an extent. I don't know how far, but it has to be, right? Say it destroys Earth, right? That doesn't make sense because the sacred timeline.
That's the other thing. Is it all on Earth or is it on other planets too?
It has to be other planets.
Only coming to Earth.
It has to be other planets. Doesn't make sense. TVA is only
watching Earth.
Yeah, because there's other things going back in time. You know what I mean?
Yeah, they should be watching Urath.
Yeah, everything.
Should be everything.
Yeah. So I don't know, man. She's wiping out either a planet or an area. I would surmise an area, given the information that we have.
That'll be interesting to see what happens in the next episode.
Yeah, and then he goes through the portal at the very end.
I didn't expect him to go through it.
Loki. Like it would have been easier to see him going through it if it was like, if he goes through that portal, they all die or some bullshit, like he betrayed them, but it's kind of vague if he goes through it, but he goes through it. So I was like, that makes sense. It's Loki.
I mean, I wasn't surprised, but I thought he was going to stay.
Narratively, it doesn't make sense for him to stay.
Yeah, I guess.
But okay, all right. So he goes through it, right? So they're going. Did she go to another apocalyptic event?
I've been ignoring the trailer. It's out there, but I've been
no, because he's following after her. So wherever she went, where did she go? She had to have gone to a apocalyptic event because she doesn't want to change anything.
Well, maybe right now that they're distracted, she's going to where she really wants to go.
Maybe, or she created more apocalyptic events for her to chill out at.
Oh, maybe. That's a good one.
Yeah, there you go. So she can just live in those time. How do you sleep?
No, but she has a goal. So her goal is right now is not to run. And right now she just stole all these bombs. So,
and she did it. She did what she wanted.
We're assuming that she blew her wad right now.
Yes.
To create a distraction.
You think? Or
I
maybe
think
that's
so.
what she wants. Because okay, so Loki offers her to be the second lieutenant to run the TVA. She then says, I don't want to run the TVA.
Yeah.
So what does she want? To destroy the TVA? I mean, that's the next logical step. Right? I mean, like, what sense does it make? All right. She don't want to run it. Duh, she wants to destroy it.
Well, see, is she a prankster like Loki?
Well, Loki is a prankster because it achieves what he wants, right? He wants to rule over people. So you would then call him a prankster.
No,
But
why did he do the plane heist? It wasn't
off a
didn't
bet.
happen,
They
you
said a
know.
bet. He lost a
Okay, so
bet.
that's that's just him being mischievous.
Yeah, to do what he wants to do, and to do what he wanted to do, lost a bet. So I mean, what was how the fuck did you get to that level? I bet you can't be a person who steals money and escapes from a plane. But he said he lost a bet, so what the fuck ever. I don't know.
Yeah.
And like, okay, mischievous. He becomes the fucking god of Asgard. I mean, an ends to an.
So, new Loki. I don't know. Does she? I mean, yeah, I guess we don't know what her motivation is, right? Is it to destroy everything? Is it to rule everything? Is it to
Dude, her
just play a
timeline.
big trick on everybody?
No, she
Is it,
got her timeline erased.
or it could be to reveal the TVA? To humiliate them.
No. It's either to destroy or conquer. There's no fucking way this Loki is all about.
No, Marvel's been trying to stay away from that. I feel
I am right. I know it.
destroy
Just
or
like
conquer.
Destroy or conquer. There's nothing else. This Loki is none of the Lokis are like, I just want to live. No, as soon as like fucking Loki took over Asgard, that's as far as he went with it.
Nah, Loki's trip was that he was in Thor's shadow.
Yes, and in
and
that he separated. He wanted to separate himself. So instead of conquer,
but it wasn't.
he
Yeah, but
went
it
to
wasn't. It wasn't power for power's sake. It was like, hey man, I have value too. I can fucking
Yes.
run a place. I can do
And
this shit too.
watch me destroy this fucking planet, and then he did.
Yeah, but again, it wasn't strictly power for power's sake. It's like
It's
it
not.
had
No,
a
no, it
goal,
isn't.
and there was
He's
an
yeah.
emotional root to it.
Yeah, dude, he's super basic, man. Dude, like, okay, so he tries to take over Asgard. Thor is doing shit. He's like, fuck Thor. I'm destroying this planet. Destroys the planet. Gets caught, fucking dies. Comes back in the Avengers. What's he want to do? I'm going to rule this fucking planet. All right, fuck, boom, done. What's he do next? He goes and, I want revenge. So he gets revenge. What's the next thing he does? I'm going to conquer Asgard. He conquers Asgard. Then when he's done with, okay, so say he gets caught again. Now he's on this one planet. What's he doing? What's he fucking doing there? He's literally trying to gain favor with the fucking Grandmaster, kill him, and then take over. And then Thor's like, you know what? That's good for you. That's what you want. Because he fucking knows Loki. That's what Loki
So I guess
does.
they made him basic over time then, I guess. But at the beginning,
That's what
he
he
really
is.
was.
He's
In the
always
beginning,
basic.
you get the sense that it was more, there was resentment, about Thor.
I agree. If that was the last movie, if
And
that was
having
it,
been lied to. But yeah, you're right. He was much more basic after that.
yeah, no, but that's this. And then like if after fucking like 4 movies with the guy, like, you call a spade, he's got simple needs. Conquer. And then or no, conquer. No, that's what he does. He'll destroy if he feels slighted.
Now that's our Loki.
Exactly.
We don't know about this Loki.
This Loki's gonna, if she says, I'm not out to rule the TVI, the next logical step is destroy. Because what if I don't want to take it over, then I want to destroy it. It doesn't make sense to leave it there because it's there. Like, as long as it exists, no matter what she does, it's there. That's not our Loki. That's not a Loki. That's no Loki. There's no way you could be that character and be like, totally, I don't want to rule.
It could be destroy or depower. Just take away their power.
All right, yeah, that Loki's just killing these people left and right and decides, you know what? I'm just going to defang them. I'm not going to kill them at all.
Well, sometimes that's worse than death for some people.
I hear you. I don't see, dude, the way she's going about killing people, I don't see her being like, you know
Well,
what?
she's killing people, but she's not. She hasn't gone after.
You're really fighting hard for this, man. Hey, if you want to believe that, go for it. I know I'm right.
I don't know. I'm hoping
I know.
that Marvel's going deeper than just.
Dude, I want them to surprise me. Yeah. I mean, they have, but I mean, like this Loki. I mean, other than if okay, she's in love with somebody. That's the only way you can make that work. It would not work because it's stupid. Like it doesn't make sense with that character. So she fell in love with Thor. It would be weird. So I mean, like, fuck, it's just weird. Destroy, I'm with that. If that's the only way you can subvert the expectation is she's in love with somebody because Thor, Loki's always been conquer, destroy, fucking revenge. Simple shit. But like in love, that's not Loki. So it's going to be destroy TVA. Mm-hmm. Trump isn't in jail. I'm right. Boom. Boom. I'm always right. That's how it works out.
Yet.
Okay. You keep waiting for that one. I'm telling you, it's all a fucking game. It's all a game with these fucking people. Hey, all right. Wait, do you have anything more for Loki? What episode do you like more? The first one or this one?
Oh shit, man. They both did really different things. The first one did a great job of establishing the universe, and kind of getting us up to speed of what was going on.
Yes.
This one did a great job of taking that world and going forward with it.
Yeah, it was like a sequel to a movie.
Like when you teach somebody the rules of the game, and then you just start playing the game.
Mm-hmm.
That's
it was like a sequel. Like you get your Terminator 1 Stalker movie, Terminator 2 action movie with that stalker. It's like it's what Jason needed. You know what I mean? Like the second Jason should be like, kill him, or something.
They're both different flavors. The same show. I don't know. I'm looking forward to see what they do with the third one.
But come on, man? I put your fucking feet to the coals, man. Would you fucking want?
So which one was I smiling at more? Which one was I liking more? Which one was
we didn't review them?
The first one.
The first one. Yeah, I mean the first one. Yeah, the first one's better, but like it's so different. It's hard to even call it that. Like
the first one had the heavy lifting that Thor had to do when it first came out,
based off the merits.
A lot of people, they look back at Thor and they say, "Well, it wasn't that great of a movie." Like, fucking imagine. Try to think back to where we were at before Thor. It was just a guy in a suit and a guy with gamma radiation. They had to establish a total cosmic, society out there and get us to accept the fucking rainbow bridge, teleportation, fucking guy with a hammer and lightning and shit like that. Magic. They had to get us to accept that. Thor did a lot of fucking heavy lifting as far as expanding the universe beyond just Earth. And they did a damn good job of it. Why? Because we didn't come out of it thinking this is fucking bullshit. No, it's not. It didn't break anything. It kept it going forward. Now we look back and we're like, well, it's pretty hum. Was it?
It's okay.
It's pretty hum. Marvel, get the fuck out of here. Put yourself back in the mindset of 2008 and what had to be done to create the Marvel Cinematic Universe.
I do every time. Like Captain America and Thor were not good movies. I mean, they're not good movies. Okay. I take that.
They did what they had to do at the time.
Exactly.
I mean, you can't compare those shits to like Infinity War and Endgame, but you can't have those without the first ones.
Yeah, well, no, like when you watch Thor Ragnarok, somebody made a movie there. When you watch Thor 2, it feels like they were just making the movies to make them. But Thor Ragnarok, when you see that movie, they made a movie. In fact, you don't even need 1 and 2. You really could have just did Thor Ragnarok, and it would have been a movie onto its own.
They made enough changes, yeah.
Like Captain America though. Here's this: they figured it out by second movie. The first movie is okay. I mean, they do a lot of heavy lifting. That's what when I left the theater on Captain America, I was like, well, they needed to make that movie. That's how I saw it. But when you watch part 2, and when I went going into part 2, I was thinking, all right, here we go. You just need to make this movie so you can get it fucking separated itself.
Changed everything.
And Thor Ragnarok was your Captain America 2. It literally made a movie.
Yeah.
And then Civil War and everything after that was actual movies. The only movies really that were just different from one or the other was the Iron Man movies. Each one was different. And that's why I like them more than any of the other movies. in the sense when you're going through trilogies and shit.
Yeah, with the core three, it was like they realized that they really did need to kind of focus on the character and let the action just do its thing.
Oh yeah, they totally focus on the character the whole time. But those movies, and that's why they're good. And that's why Thor 3 is good. And for some reason, Thor 2 doesn't do that as well. It doesn't really, they don't develop Thor 2 at all. They don't develop Thor. In fact, they develop Loki though.
Yeah, I mean the fucking Loki stole that movie. Well, at first there wasn't gonna be that much Loki in it. But after, he was just gonna be like a Hannibal Lecter. He was gonna be in the cell, right? But then they wrote it to where he was with Thor, on that adventure, which kind of stole the movie out from Thor.
Mm-hmm.
But they didn't give Thor much, anyways. The biggest thing is that his mom dies, and
they did not know how. So much is going on in Thor 3 and in Endgame and Avengers. I mean, Infinity Gauntlet. They're from Thor 3. That's the birth of Thor. It's all good from there. They just know how to develop the character. 1 and 2, I don't know what they're doing. And then like in Avengers 2 with Thor, it's like they didn't know what they were doing.
Yeah, Thor, they didn't give Thor a whole lot to do except preview the upcoming movies.
Well, actually, that Avengers movie, Thor does have a scene and he actually does something. He's having a moment with Loki. He's playing off with them and he's like, I fucking warned you.
Yeah.
And it's like they gave up on him after that. They gave up on him. That's what that is. The writers were like, I don't give a shit anymore. They literally forgot he existed. And then Thor in Avengers 2, it's like the same fucking thing. They don't have any of those moments. They don't. There's not one moment. None. And then Thor 3 comes out and it's all good. Like it's all good. And then you have it, and it
carries into Infinity War.
Exactly.
One of my favorite scenes is when he's talking to fucking Rocket, a fucking raccoon.
Yeah.
And hats off to Chris Hemsworth for getting himself emotional, talking to nothing, and talking about, how much he's lost, all the people that he's lost and everything he's gone through. And he's just like, it can't get any worse, and having that moment with the fucking green screen in a fucking fake ass set with nothing but a fucking tennis ball across from him, able to go to where he went and make me feel something for him. I was just like, fuck this. Dude,
I just think
awesome.
Like the writers, it seems like I don't know what, they don't give a fuck about him. They think he's just buff and he can't act, or maybe the writers are just terrible, because when you watch Thor Ragnarok, he's doing it all. He's
everything.
He's everything. He does it all. Yeah. And then once again, Infinity Gauntlet and Endgame, he's delivering because the writers, they finally understand it.
Well, and Taika Waititi, I think he used that reverent version of Thor as a juxtaposition to where he took him, which made that shit even funnier.
Yeah, he took his hair.
Here's this Shakespearean dude, and he's like screaming because he's in this chair. He doesn't know what the fuck's gonna happen. Here's this guy, and he's like, by Odin's beard, you will not cut my hair. And fucking Stan Lee starts chopping away. It makes those scenes funny. Some people complain that it turned him into a fool. I don't see that. I really don't.
Well, those people are the minorities.
Yeah,
there's no one like
the criticisms of Thor is that they turned him into a clown. I don't see that. That they turned him into a butt of a joke. Yeah, there was fat jokes in Endgame, but fuck. I mean, when I was watching Endgame, I was like, I went there. I gained fucking 35 pounds when I was going through my shit. I fucking ate, my goddamn depression. I was like, I probably could have got there.
But it made so much sense.
Yeah, and then at the end to have him become, Thor again, but still keep his body style, is like, yeah, fucking yes. Why does he have to go back to fit Thor to be the right Thor, to be the
the new Thor? He's fit Thor.
He looks fucking sick in the new one, dude. He looks fucking awesome.
Because he comes off of Hulk Hogan. Like he beefed up for Hulk Hogan. So
awesome.
I was like,
his costume looks sick, his hair looks sick. I'm like, man, he looks fucking cool.
And swole. Like, god Yeah,
He
dude.
looks fucking cool, man.
It won't make sense. Okay, like if he's like a weaker Thor, I don't know. I feel like this is gonna be the movie, but I don't know. There's a lot of woke shit going on, so I don't know. That might affect it.
I don't know. I hope he's OP.
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
hope he's OP.
That
He
would
should be
subvert
OP.
my expectations if he's like the man, because I feel like he's gonna just be a joke again. I hope not, because it really does feel like he's come into his own. Like he recognizes himself.
Here's something I'm worrying about, and it's because I saw these leaked photos. They're doing that play thing again
Why?
because it was so funny in the first, in the first one in Ragnarok.
Wow.
Right? And the people that they have, the can I spoil it for you?
Go ahead.
Melissa McCarthy is playing Hela. Yeah.
She's
I'm not
funny.
She's funny, but
You're just tapping the well again. All right, whatever.
yeah.
I wanted
in
it to be
Ragnarok, it was
different.
funny because it was a surprise.
Mhm.
And you just didn't see it coming. And now you see it, unless they do something new.
No, that's not new. They're literally doing the same thing. It was, you know what's funny? Matt Damon playing.
Yes.
Like,
yes.
That's funny. That's funny. Now, if it was like Tom Cruise, like I'd be like, seriously,
That was funny.
That would have been fun if they.
Sam Neill playing Odin, and you could barely recognize him.
Yeah.
Was cool.
Yeah.
And Hemsworth brother playing a Hemsworth.
Yeah. So
was the icing on the cake, because
Yeah.
you didn't figure that out until afterwards. Afterwards, you're like, who the fuck was that guy? You looked it up. You're like, his name's Hemsworth. I don't know who the fuck he is. Though.
It was fucking hilarious.
It was
but
awesome.
To do it again,
awesome.
I don't think they should.
I don't think they should have done it again.
To do it again, you'd have to go way over the top.
And to put Melissa McCarthy in there is just to see somebody. I feel it's like just to see somebody heavy go into the Hela suit,
Yeah.
I think they're just kind of laughing at that, not with that.
Yeah. I don't know, man.
You know
but like they shouldn't go to that well again. They should do something else.
Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised if it gets cut out. Maybe it becomes a deleted scene. They might put it in there, and they might watch it, and then they might say exactly the same thing you just said right now. He's like, maybe we don't need to go to that well again.
Yeah, I hope not. I don't mind it being witty, but like I hope they don't take away from the character development.
Yeah.
Like right now, I feel like this Thor is unbeatable in the sense of like you can't beat him. Like even if you kill him, you haven't beaten his spirit. Like he's just, I know who I want to be. I just want to be Thor, fighting bad guys, being jovial. That's who I am. I'm not the king of anything.
Right.
That's who I am. Now, if he does a thing where he gives up his power, that's kind of stupid because he really likes doing that. That's the thing.
I don't think he is going to give up his power.
Oh, okay. So wait.
No, I don't think he's going to give up his power.
So wait, what's her name? Who played Padme? What's her name?
Natalie Portman.
So Natalie Portman, who's going to be the next Thor, she just accident.
Can he imbue power?
No.
Can the power be imbued?
This is how it works. She gets the hammer. He now has no power. She has all his power.
But he's not the god of hammers.
He isn't the god of hammer. You're right, though. You're right. In the comics, though, you get the hammer, you got the powers. In the comics.
That's what I'm getting at.
He is not the god of hammers, though.
Well, also, we don't know which hammer she's going to get. Is she going to get Stormbreaker or is she going to get Mjolnir?
Well, and Stormbreaker wasn't imbued with that stipulation, though. That's the thing. Thor inscribed the imbuement when he said, so anyone could use his hammer. Basically, anyone can use his hammer. But when Thor and Odin gets the thing and says only someone worthy could be Thor, blah, 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 then it's established in the canon, in this thing. So anyone could get his hammer if they're worthy. But before that, it's because
Hela had the hammer.
No, she breaks it. There's a difference.
No. Hela had the hammer before.
Maybe she's worthy.
In Ragnarok, they show the frescoes, and she's holding.
But that's
the hammer.
before. No, but
That's before. I know. I understand. I'm with you. I'm supporting you here. I'm saying, yeah, what you're saying is correct, because before Hela held the hammer, she was not worthy. She was fucking murdering people with it.
Okay.
And yeah, you're right. Odin put that shit on there.
Yeah.
And Stormbreaker didn't get that. Can Thor put that on there? Can Thor change it now that Odin?
He could, but like, scratch that. I know what's gonna happen. He's gonna give her the hammer or something, and then she'll have all the powers of Thor.
Yeah, I'm cool with that, so long as he doesn't give up his shit. I don't see why they would have to write that.
Why would they? Because okay,
or maybe I wouldn't want this either, but maybe he splits his powers with her.
Oh, it's stupid because like his character development turned him into I like being Thor. That's just the development. I like being Thor. You can't have Thor without the powers. So, but for her to be Thor, for her to have those powers, is in the comics is she takes a hammer, Thor gives it up. So for them to have her in there and to have her have Thor powers,
he has to give it up.
But then, I mean, fuck, you're right. They wrote, hey, he's not the god of hammers. But then you can't have what, I don't know what they're going to do. I just don't. But I feel like they wrote themselves in a corner with that line. And so we're going to get pissed. I don't know. I just feel like this is a moment where Thor gives his powers to her and she takes over. Which is stupid because she doesn't want to do that. She literally leaves the entirety of Marvel to pursue black holes and bullshit, you know?
You know, I have to trust that Natalie Portman would not have taken it unless
money
had some value.
No, this is the fucking
money.
This is the value. She thought she was written as, she's a great actress, by the way.
Yeah.
But she has a bit part. So she's like, fuck this show. Fuck this movie.
Yeah.
It's not going to go anywhere. And now she sees the fucking moolah. And, you know, wokeness happens. She would not come back unless she was center stage. I don't blame her. She's an act. She is of that. She's been doing acting for a bit, like 20 fucking years and such, you know. So unless she's front and center, she wouldn't be doing this movie.
Yeah. I will see what happens, man.
We will see what happens. You got anything for Loki?
No, man, I'm looking forward to it. How many episodes are there?
I don't know, 10.
10.
I mean, how many episodes?
Winter Soldier was 7 or 8, right? It was not 10.
Alexa, how many episodes were there of the Scarlet Witch? What the fuck was it called?
WandaVision.
Something I found on the web.
That was like 7 episodes.
In 1994.
Alexa, stop. People's Alexas are going off. They're hearing this. Alexa, how many episodes are there in WandaVision?
According to an Alexa Answers contributor, from January 15th to March 5th, 2021, there are 9 episodes of WandaVision.
Alexa, stop. 9 episodes. So,
oh.
So our benchmark is 9 episodes.
But I think Falcon and Winter Soldier was shorter.
No, it felt long. As Eber is checking it out on his phone. Let's see here. Winter. No. Falcon. There you go. Boom. Miniseries.
6 episodes.
6 episodes.
And this show, it's like these have been 50 minutes. 45
They're long. They're long episodes.
I think this is going to be more in the Falcon and Winter Soldier.
God, I hope not, because I like this show way more than the other 2.
Oh, I hope so, because that would mean that they put a lot of thought into this. You know, it's the reason why we only get one Rick and Morty every fucking solstice.
It says 6 episodes.
Yep.
Yeah, that's how many episodes we got. 6. So we're like,
better enjoy it.
What?
A third?
Yeah, we're almost done. Like next episode is halfway point.
Hey man, but that's like 3 movies. That's crazy, dude. That's 3 movies.
Right. But does the first 2 hours feel like a movie? Feels like a show.
Yeah, but the pacing's good though.
No, because it's a show that's well made.
Yeah.
It just is. It just the reason why a show works is because you're building off the last episode, and that's why some movies suck, because they're thinking to themselves, "Hey, we're just gonna make another movie," so they don't create a good movie. The good movies is it works. A good show is for whatever the fuck you're watching. It works. What doesn't work is fucking got another episode. We got another episode. It's season 4. We got another episode. So you just keep building on it, and there's nothing that's happening. That's terrible.
Well, that's why I think these were written as big ass movies, and then
it feels like it.
Yeah.
Oh, it's well made though.
Yeah.
Not even chunk though. It really does feel like each episode is a thing.
Yeah, I mean when you're teaching and you're going through lessons, you don't just stop at an arbitrary point. You create lessons and then sections of lessons, and then you time it
end
out.
Point.
Yeah, a good stopping point with a natural starting point after that. All right, guys, today we're talking about 2 plus. You know what? Class is over. We'll talk about the rest tomorrow. What the fuck? No,
there you go. And I feel like they're doing that well.
Tomorrow we'll talk about 4 plus 4. But yeah, no, that's it. That's all I got for Loki, man. I'm enjoying it.
Yeah,
it's good.
I like it.
So far, I've liked all the shows, but I feel like this one hit the ground with better momentum than WandaVision.
And Winter Soldier. Like, this is way better. Like, these two
Winter Soldier gave me exactly what I expected it to be. The cool thing about that, WandaVision tried to be something unexpected, but it took too long to get you to where you wanted to go. Falcon and Winter Soldier was pretty much by the numbers, exactly what you expected, and ended up exactly where you expected it to end up. This one's been a surprise. I had no fucking clue what they were going to do with it, and what they're doing with Loki, I like it.
Well, WandaVision was a surprise, and I didn't like it at first, but ended up liking it more. Apparently, per our review system, we liked it better than the other movie, the show.
Yeah. Well, that's what I'm saying. WandaVision was a surprise, but it took a long time to get to where you were like, okay, I'm on. Falcon and Winter Soldier from episode 1 to episode 6, it's pretty much what we expected, with a few little twists and turns in there in the middle, right? But not anything super crazy. This one's like, damn, I didn't think they were gonna go universe expanding, rule expanding.
Yeah.
Philosophical, talking about Loki.
Oh yeah, dude.
Can we trust them? Can't we trust them? Is this the same Loki? Is this a different Loki?
What is a person? If you have infinite timeline.
What's the nature of existence? Is everything predetermined, or is nothing predetermined? Or
WandaVision though is a thing that does question that, and then Loki feels like it just takes it to the next level.
Yeah.
All right, that's it for Loki.
Yep.
Did you watch the new Rick and Morty?
Dude, I'm way behind on Rick and Morty. I think
Where
I
are
got
you
halfway
at?
through season 3.
All right.
What season are they in right now?
5.
They're ending 3, right? No,
you're
not
lucky.
5.
Yeah, I just watched season 5, episode 1.
Fuck. What? I have a DVD set. Is it the first 2 seasons? Oh, I finished the 3rd season. I got some of the way into the 4th season. You want to know what the last episode I watched was?
Okay.
The fucking dragon one. No.
Oh, it's season 4.
The train. Maybe the train.
Oh, that's season 4. That's season 4. The train one's good. Did you watch the dragon one? Oh man, dude. When they had the group orgasm, I was laughing so hard. When he's like, "Oh, it feels good. Stop looking at me," but kinda.
Yeah.
Dude, when okay, so let me talk about this episode for a second. That is such a good episode, right? Because they're all like, the dragons are cool, and you're like, "Hey, are we really doing this?" But I remember when it was happening, I was like, what the fuck is happening right now? Like, that's how good that show is. Because when he goes, "Are we doing this?" And I'm like, what? Like, I thought they were just being cool with each other. I didn't know that this was. And then they soul bond, and I'm like, oh, and then I'm like, oh, they're soul bonding, but it was like, I was just like, what?
Why is this happening?
Yeah, and then I don't know, man. Like when they're talking about like sucking and fucking the dragons that create the ultimate hell beast or something, where
Yeah.
they have this huge orgy. Like I was like, what? Like what the fuck?
Yeah, that shit was
I don't know. That was the best writing ever. It was one of my favorite episodes. I watched it
I
several
left off
times.
in the middle of that season, so
Oh man,
they're in
that's
the fifth
good.
season now.
And when you say, yeah, they're in the 5th season. Season 4 is pretty good. Hey, season 4, all of them are good. But season 3 is funny because I like that. When you said season 3, I instantly was thinking of the Avengers, their version of the Avengers. There's there's like the million ants. Oh, 1 million, fuck you up. Or something like that. The ants. I don't know.
That was a good one too.
Yeah.
Yeah, I
Guys,
should probably go back and rewatch. You know, I'm trying to get my girlfriend into it. I don't know.
you know what? I've rewatched so many of those episodes because they're so good. They're so like little. They're so fucking good. There's Pickle Rick. I was like, what?
That episode was hyped up before I even watched it. And when I watched it, I was like, deserves it.
Yeah, oh yeah, dude. It's iconic into itself. And it's deep too. So I wish it wasn't hyped because it is deep. You know what I mean?
Everybody thinks about, you know, the fact that he's a pickle and doing all kinds of crazy shit. Which is fun and imaginative. But the whole scene at the end, you know.
Oh, when he makes roaches and creates an exoskeleton out of roaches, I was like, what? Like the sentence that I just said is something I want to watch. You know what I mean? Like, say I've never seen this show before. This guy turns himself into a pickle, and through his sheer genius, turns roaches into an exoskeleton. And rats, too.
And rats.
Yeah, exoskeleton of rats and roaches. Like, who fucking thinks of this shit, you know? In season 5, spoiler, not a spoiler, you get to see Rick's nemesis. And then you have to really analyze the word nemesis. So there you go.
I'll get
I was gonna say, did you know that villain means peasant? No, anyways, no, let's see here. Let's see. You got time for how much time you got?
Let's go for it.
All right, here's this topic. Let me introduce the topic and we'll see where we stand after that. So, left eats left. Anthony Mackie, the Falcon, you know. Okay, so a common theme that happens with these Disney movies, you know, Star Wars, Marvel, all that, is if you see two dudes nowadays, you see two dudes being friends, gotta be gay. All right, so it's a thing, right? So a lot of people are trying to push Anthony Mackie and the Winter Soldier together because they're friends, right? In the show, the bromance. And so there's like a lot of fan art and all that. And Anthony Mackie responded to this, right? Because people are really trying to push this. By people, I mean a minority of people.
A few loud people.
But they're loud. Yeah. So Anthony Mackie, he simply said, I don't know why it always has to be a thing where dudes have to be together. If they're just friends, they have to turn it into a thing that it's not, like a romance. And damn.
Did he get shit on?
Oh yeah. He's anti-gay. You didn't know that? You didn't know that? He's anti-gay. That's what happened.
You know what? I wouldn't say that it's a thing though until he gets recast or something.
I read the article one day and the next day it was faces backlash.
Yeah, but that's just people writing headlines to get you to read it, you know, unless there's a real consequence. Like if Disney decides to fucking, you know, shit their pants and say, oh, we're going to recast them or we're not going to use that character anymore. Then I'd be like, get the fuck out of here. That's bullshit.
Especially after they made him Captain America.
But yeah, no, I don't know. I think that's a non-starter. I think that's just honestly, what I think it does, it makes the left look fucking crazy. And the extreme left is the one doing this. Same thing on the extreme right is making Republicans look fucking crazy.
Oh, I hear you.
And it's not fair. It's not fair. But if he keeps his job and he's not getting harassed at home and shit like that, I mean, when you're famous, especially now that every motherfucker can post shit on the internet, you always got to expect that kind of shit. You got to expect the full range of responses. Nothing you ever say will appease everybody.
Well, do you think that that'll take him out? You don't think that will? There won't be a thing?
No, No, I don't think it'll be a thing. I think so. I mean, unless he said like, no, being gay is stupid, then then I think you'll be okay. Because right now, the Disney PR people, the Marvel PR people, his own personal agent, all they're all kind of designing. Okay, this is what you're gonna say and not say going forward to kind of keep this from becoming a thing where Disney has to make a decision about something.
Well, all it needs is time, and then it just keeps rolling, and it just keeps adding to itself. And all he has to do to survive this is shut the fuck up. Don't say
that's
a
not
thing.
that's not possible. That's not possible because he's gonna get asked. The next time there's an interview or something, you could put limits on it. You can tell the interviewer you're not gonna ask about this, this, or this. And you could actually tell the interview you can't even tell people what you can and can't ask. You're not even allowed to tell people. That's
If I
sign on the
was
dotted line,
him,
you get it.
if I was him, I'd take 2 weeks off. It'll blow over. It will blow over.
Yeah, you're right. That'd probably be the best.
But there's
disappear
people.
and shut the fuck up. And
They're
let
gonna
them
create the gotcha moment.
Let somebody else fuck up and let them start aiming their shit at that person and then go back to coming out.
You let this die, you're good. If you fucking even inject, you're gonna be part of that craziness. Now, here's another thing that I thought was cool about this event, though, because left eats left. You got Black Lives Matters, right? But when they say something, it's kind of like anti-LGBTQ, they don't matter. Because you could say something as anything. Like when Black Lives Matter, they could have said anything, and get away with it. Like, let's just, enslave white people or something like that. You can say whatever you want. However, there's one, it's like of the oppression Olympics, LGBTQ wins, period. Because this would not have been a thing.
Yeah, I guess it would be inappropriate to attack the movement for the views of the few.
But he's not.
So anybody that goes after that needs to be really concise in what they're saying and really careful to word what they're saying so that it's not taken out of context.
No, what I'm getting at is this. Okay, so you got Star Trek, right? They got a black character, right? Now, and you could shit on that Star Trek. You're like, I don't like the Star Trek. And then becomes, you don't like black people, you're anti-Black Lives Matters, all that bullshit, right? And that's not even a sentence, right? That doesn't even make fucking sense. You could hate a fucking thing, but because they have a black person, they made it a thing. But this guy, he says, nah, I don't think there should be a romance. He didn't even say anything. Like he didn't even say anything. And his Black Lives Matter cred didn't exist at that point. You didn't say to somebody, so say me being gay or whatever, fucking he doesn't like gay people. Da, 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 da. It would have been then to counter that, like the Star Trek. If I say I don't like that thing, it's you racist. It would have then been you're racist. But this didn't happen. All things crushed that. So when he said, I don't like this, I don't this romance, it shouldn't be a thing like that. He really didn't say anything bad, really didn't. Then it became backlash. He doesn't like gay people. And it was like, wait a minute. How come in one instance I can't even shit on a bad Star Trek episode because I'm racist, apparently. But you mess with the alphabet people and not even mess with them. Like, he wasn't even shitting on anything. He just wasn't. He just made a comment. So it was a neutral comment. But they came in, punched him. Now he's got to fucking apologize.
Well, I don't know. I mean, I'll have to look into it and see who's reporting this. If it's a writer that is looking for clicks.
Of course, it's writers looking for clicks.
I know, but if it's somebody obscure, then it's going to tend to be usually something really sensational. They're trying to get people.
No, they're doing it for clicks, and if it catches fire, they win. However, and what I'm saying is, you couldn't have done this before. Like, if this was a white dude, man, the only thing that's keeping it going, I think, like keeping him afloat, is he's black. But I have a feeling, though, it's a weird thing that LGBTQ trumped black people I mean, they have that ability. They have that ability. You can't say anything now up against them. Now, and that's the way it is. And that is the way it is. That's where we're at.
I guess I can kind of see where you're coming from.
You know what I mean? Like, I don't think like how far can we go with this? I wonder. Like, if you're like gay, can you?
Well, and that backlash
outright?
is only going to come from the left.
Of course, yeah, it's left eats left. Only
Yeah,
the left gives a shit about this stuff. Like, right, the Black Lives Matter or LGBTQ. That's not even a right issue. So no one on the right will ever say anything. There's nothing for them to say. There isn't. So they shut the fuck up. That's what they do. The only one arguing this is the left. Funny, that doesn't really happen on the right. There's not much things happening on the right. They're pretty concise. But
no, they're the right is in fucking they're having their own civil war over there.
No, they're not. That's all. As long as you're about guns, abortion, and anti-abortion,
Mike Pence got booed at the Faith and Freedom Conference.
They all get booed.
Faith and freedom by their own people.
Republicans always
in
get
a conference about faith.
And
with
chances
the
are,
fucking dude that probably sleeps in the separate twin bed from his wife.
There are probably gay people out there jumping into these conferences, and they'd be like, "What agent of?"
No, they were yelling at him traitor and shit like that. No,
it could have been
people that legitimately. No, then you had
could have been people on the left. Oh, I see what you're saying. No, I see what you're saying. Anti-Trump. I get it.
There's the Trump. There's the Trump movement within the right that's creating.
You're right. I'm wrong. You're right.
But what's going on that side is more a political power struggle. You know.
Yeah.
But and what's happening on the left is it's more an ideology. It's more like, hey, you know what? We've got the majority right now. We should push as far to the left as we can because we can do that shit and get away with it. Where, you know, people like Joe Biden, the moderates, and, you know, this dude, Joe Manchin, they're saying, well, I mean, we can't just abuse this thing. We kind of got to keep it to the center so that we can bring the other side in with us and get them to negotiate with us and work with them. So that we're not just isolating a whole half of the country. But the problem is you acknowledge the viewpoints of people that are giving radical shit like Venezuela meddled in our elections, or they use Chinese bamboo paper instead of the watermarked Trump ballots in Arizona. There's these weird theories, and you give them there's a section of the Democrats that want to still bring them to the table, and it's just like,
let it go. You won already.
I don't know.
Yeah, well, like it seems like ever since they lost their greatest nemesis in all time in history, it's like they're eating off of each other because they created a thing for themselves in a way where it was like they've been feeding off of him, right? So he's gone. So they instead of like attacking ideals and ideologies, they were attacking character. That's what they were doing. Yeah. And so now that one character is gone, and they try. I see little embers of trying to go back to the well. You know, oh, he did this, he did that, but it's nowhere. It leads to nowhere. So what do you have? So now they have to find a new thing, and so they're just like constantly attacking each other over the smallest little thing. Well, and like I said, Anthony Mackie
in the culture war, yeah, but in the policy war, you know, the Democrats are putting things up. They're saying, hey, let's try and do this program. Let's try and do that program. They're trying to do infrastructure, but it looks like some people are adding shit that maybe doesn't need to be in there.
But you know what? You're not hearing that much in the news in the sense of like.
No, you're not, because it's boring. Yeah, you know, it's boring. But Captain America is a homophobe. That'll get a fucking headline.
But that's what I'm talking about.
I haven't seen it. I'm gonna look at it in a little bit here once we get off. I don't know if it's a thing next week, then we'll probably have to dig into it.
Highly doubt that.
Yeah, I doubt it. I doubt it too. I think as people are giving them the same advice that you said, just shut the fuck up for 2 weeks. and
Shut the
cancel all
fuck
your
up.
shit.
That's
So that
such a
you don't
fucked
even
up
have,
thing.
so that they don't even put him in a position where he has to answer the question. And it
Mm-hmm.
gives him 2 weeks so that when he does get back out there to promote a show or a movie or something, it gives him 2 weeks to plan and write an answer that'll cover as many bases as possible.
Yeah, because like what he said wasn't that big of a deal. Like it sounded like a bro talking. Like we're just like you and I are just having a conversation, and that was something to be said, but not like a thing in which it was out of hate. There's no venomous intent. He just like, why do we have to go there? You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah,
can't we just be friends?
could have been like an honest, earnest conversation.
Yeah.
And he just didn't realize, either that he was being recorded or that it was going to be, blown out of proportion.
They could make those two guys get together though. Narratively, I mean, it's stupid to do that, but I mean, we haven't demonstrated that Anthony Mackie gets with other girls. Just saying. You can make him that gay character. Oh, dude. Dude. Think about this for a second. He's black. He's Captain America, and you make him gay. I mean, like up to this point, there's nothing to say he's straight. You can make him gay. Go for it. Go for broke, man. The Triforce of fucking wokeism. Triforce of wokeism, dude.
Yeah.
Make him
Bucky
gay.
was a womanizer back in the day, but
no,
60
comics,
years-
whatever in
60
comics, we're in
years of
woke
being-
land.
60 years of being frozen in ice, can I don't know, maybe alter your perspective or
Hey man, no, this is it. This is what we're gonna do. Make him gay and then transition. Oh, over. Dude, that is our America. And it's fucking awesome, dude. I'm telling you, I want that so bad. You have no idea.
Why do you want that?
Because it's stupid. It's like in your face. Like it's like we really want to shove this down your throat. And why not? And fucking why not? You know what? Like I'm thinking about it though. Like I know it's stupid, but I want to see how far we can go with this. Because we just constantly crush men, crush straight white dudes. We're trying to crush everything rather than promote equality. We're really just trying to push a narrative. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I don't approve when they try to marginalize or diminish, other categories of people or whatever to elevate one.
Yeah,
and we've talked about this before.
Yeah.
like lowering
we
men
can't
to
help-
raise women.
We can't help but return to these things because it keeps happening. So it's like in our medium. You know what I mean? Like it's not like it doesn't exist outside of our movie. We watch movies and then there it is. And so it brings us back to where we're talking about. That's why we keep returning to these subjects. If it wasn't a fucking thing, guess what? We wouldn't be talking about it. And that's where we're at. All right, you got one more topic or are you good?
Sure, no, go for it.
Oh shit. Black Lives Matter. Anti Black Lives Matter. I don't know. Let's see. All right. So Amazon has a protocol for shitting in bags. Yeah, I know. That's weird, right? So, okay. So Amazon has a way of metering where you go from all parts of the jobs. So you got to be here, be there, can only take this amount of break time, that kind of thing. And if you don't meet those marks, you get dinged and dinged and dinged, and then you get fired. And it's not even a conversation. It's just like you get an app and it just tells you, don't show up to work. Yep. You're just gone. So you're constantly in this rhythm of trying to get to point A to point B. So this is your job. You know that you got to get to here to there. You don't have time to shit in a toilet. So you shit in a bag. And that's a thing. So how this was found out is like people were saying this was happening. Twitter was like, or Amazon Twitter was like, no, this isn't happening. Fucking crazy. This is stupid. And then like, I guess a memorandum got leaked out, right? The protocol, like a memorandum, like, hey, everybody drink coffee like this. Hey, everybody, hey, everybody, this is how you shit in a bag. So like, you have to extrapolate from that. I mean, it happened so much that they had to create a memorandum to how to shit in a bag, because you don't create the memorandum unless that's the thing that's happening all the time. So, wow. Okay. So where do we go from here? So like, They're like so like, what do I give a fuck, right? It sucks
Yeah,
to
we
work
don't
at,
work for Amazon.
I don't work for Amazon. Okay, so you got America and you got your top three people like to work for. I mean, as in they have that many employees, millions of employees. Amazon's number 3. So you got 1 and 2, whatever they are, and you got Amazon number 3. They weren't always 3. They are now 3. So you have like a 1 in 3 chance of working for them or the others, right? The many myriad of things. So to achieve number 3, that means you have millions of people. So you're telling me that millions of people are on this system of a metric where you have to go and no breaks and you're shitting in bags. So that's how bad that is. So if you think about it, like if you keep going up to number 3 to number 2, number 1, that means that's how many more people are working for you, right? So the entirety of America is mostly shitting in bags and doing this, right? And then what else happens from this? Let's just pull back the curtain here. So what else happens? Other companies emulate that, right? If I'm not getting enough employees and Amazon's taking them all, what the fuck are they doing? Oh shit. They're shitting in bags. Not shitting in bags though. Realistically, they're putting you in a position where it just makes sense, right? You don't want to do that, but there you are. So basically, they're making their own slave. So basically, we're creating slaves, and like it's a choice because you have no choice.
Right.
I mean, that's our future. There's no fixing it either. There is. I have an answer, but as of now, the way things are, nothing's fixing it.
It is. I mean, not a form of slavery, whips and chains or anything like that, but it is putting people in a situation where they don't have an alternative. They're taking advantage of the fact that there's these people out there that are desperate for work and will do anything.
Yeah,
including submit themselves to being treated like robots.
Yeah.
And maybe a closer one would be like indentured servitude. We're not ripping them away from their homes and putting them somewhere else, but
no.
But as a society, Jeff Bezos by himself owns more wealth than 20% of the country, yet he pays 0 taxes. So that means those 20% of the people are covering his share of the taxes. He's making money off of these people disproportionately to whatever service he's providing and not paying back into the society. So that's where that gap starts coming in, because you look at how much money goes into the taxes, right? We're talking trillions of dollars and shit that funds our military and social programs and shit like that. And how much more could we do if the top 1% paid their share? If they did, there would be more opportunities for people, and there would be more education, more facilities, more resources, and then you wouldn't have those low wage, low skilled people to work for you as like indentured servants. So it's not in his best interest to invest in the country that he's in, or any fucking people that have money, because they're relying on the fact that there's these poor people that are willing to do anything for them. That's the problem.
No, that is not the problem. The problem is this: we've created a system of this. So even if you educated every single one of those people, that's the job they're going to get. I mean, because the jobs for the people who are educated are already taken by the already educated jobs. So like, for instance, you only have like of factories, you'll have 100 people. This is easy numbers, 100 factory workers. Say for college degree, you only need like one person for that job. Now, every one of those persons have college degrees, but it doesn't fucking matter, because where are they going to go?
No, but the thing is, okay, so this guy owns more wealth than 20% of the population, right?
And that's not even my fucking topic. I don't even care.
I got it. But the thing is, it's like somebody over here's got 100 apples. They don't need a fucking 100 apples. Everybody else is surviving off of a slice of an apple. Their standard of living would be up if the person with 100 apples would say, hey, you know what? I'm getting 100 apples every fucking day. So guess what? I'm going to give each of you an extra apple. And now you guys can go ahead and be comfortably and still do the same job that you're doing and still make me a fucking ton of apples every day. So there's this concept of who the fuck is going to use tens of billions of dollars in their lifetime?
But you're thinking in a simplistic way of this, right? Here's your analogy, 100 apples, right? So he says, you know what? Fuck it. I'm going to give you guys 100 apples, but he's not going to give them 100
apples. Doesn't need to be 100 apples.
No. Whatever number. It's arbitrary.
Okay.
X amount of apples to make you guys happy, right? And it doesn't go to them because, you know, he's paying taxes, right? It goes to Bob. Bob's going to figure it out. Bob throws it in the garbage. And that's what's going to happen. No matter how much Jeff Bezos pays in taxes, that money will never fucking go to the people who are working because that's the way it is. Now, if he physically put the money into their bank accounts, that's a thing. I don't even know how you would achieve that, but that's not what we do. We do taxes. We came up with a convoluted process of taxes.
No, he found ways.
Of course,
he's every last drop.
Even if he paid all his taxes,
and to basically increase his margin, his profit.
Of course.
You know,
it doesn't matter.
You can share that profit margin. It doesn't even need to be taxes. You can share that profit margin within the people.
Oh, I agree.
The company,
but that's
the profit margin for you does not need to be that big. It can be
that will never be a thing.
And then you give that other chunk. You spread that out amongst your people, and guess what? Now they're not just working for, you know, like minimum wage. They're working for.
I agree with you.
Or now you have enough money to where you can pay extra people and you can give them fucking bathroom breaks.
No,
now
I agree with you.
I don't understand.
That's not a thing.
I don't understand the shitting in bags thing because I know that there's, you know, federally mandated breaks that you're entitled to.
But you're making it up for the fucking time allotted. So say you have 10 minutes, right? And you fall behind for whatever reason. So you're always on red line, you know, and you got dinged.
They are. Yeah.
So you get dinged, and then you're in a situation where you have to shit in a bag.
Well,
it's not because you have even with your mandatory time, you have to skip that to make your quota.
It's not even a quota. It's to compete with everybody else. Because the problem is, okay, these 10 people picked, 10 things each. Okay, we need to downsize. This guy picked, or these 9 people picked 11. This guy picked 10, which was the quota, but he's out. Okay, now these guys, there's somebody that came up, they could pick 12. Okay, now they're there. We're gonna get rid of somebody else that could pick 11. And so that has kind of driven the performance expectations up. And now they're fucking running around like rats. And I agree, though. You're right. They're probably having to skip their breaks, or they're probably not even.
Yeah, definitely.
Because they're competing with the person next to them for how many picks they can get. Because if they're the lowest performer that week, if they're the weakest link, they're gonna get booted.
And I agree with you that if he would have split his money up and give it to his employees, there would be something there. But there's no mechanism or way of thinking for a person like that. Like that's not a thing. So the only way we created a government, right, to do things. So what would they do? They would find a way to tax them. And as hard as they tax them, say they taxed them all the way to he makes 1 cent a year, 10 years. It wouldn't matter. That money would never get to the employees because our mechanism for helping out people does not work. There's only one way to help people out. We figured it out back in the day. It's called unions. Somehow they don't have a union because this is what would happen. Because a union works like this. You have your entirety of workers. They want more money or they want breaks. They want this. They want that.
You're talking about collective bargaining, and that's been a thing.
Yeah, it's not a thing there.
They've been attacking people that have been talking about it.
Exactly.
Why
would you? Exactly. Why would you?
They don't want them to
exactly
because then the margin goes from this to this.
Mm-hmm. Yes, and that's what they need to do, but they can't. Because can you imagine? You have 1 million people. The way this works is if 1 million people go, yes, strike. Boom. They will not be able to, it would hurt too much to fill that space. So they would need to give in.
And the few people that he buys off through campaign contributions, that's $100,000 here, $100,000 there to save billions of dollars from getting taxed or having to submit to a union.
They should mandate unions. That I think that's how our government would work.
They should, but that's not going to happen.
No.
No.
And then this is where, okay, fuck everybody. This is where I'm getting at. You and I are going to be working for Amazon, basically, not Amazon, but that company, right? A company that's going to start measuring our minutes, and we're going to have to shit in bags because this is number fucking 3. If he was fucking number like 10 in the scale, you're like, whatever. Number 3, that number only goes up. More people are going to need to work for Amazon. I mean, that's the way it is. You know?
Yeah. That's the one that's making money. That's the one that's going to beat the other companies.
And every company has to then by default copy that. And so there you go. And there you go. Your productivity. And here we are shitting in bags in this fucking dystopian future. It's fucking terrifying. Hey, when you go to Walmart, do you notice that there's stuff missing? Or have you been to the store?
Yeah.
Do you go grocery shopping? Have you noticed things not stocked? Like in the groceries part, you're like, wait, why is all this thing empty?
Fewer options for milk.
A
shit ton of toilet paper now.
Yeah, but just random things are just missing. Like why would all the okay, so I went to Walmart and it was like as if nobody gave a fuck. There was empty spaces of meat, the meat section, right? Empty spaces of meat. We're not having a meat shortage, by the way. It's just empty. It's because no one's stocking, I guess, or whatever. And then all the milk was missing. And that I heard that was a plastic issue. They have nowhere to put the milk because there's no more plastic. And I was like, oh wow, this seems kind of like the end of the world because it's not so much as like not enough people, not enough plastic, not enough parts. It's just that people aren't working and things like that.
Well, plastic's made from fossil fuels, so that's going to become a thing someday, where we can't make plastic anymore.
I don't know. We got plastic and we got gas going up. Maybe we did run out of fossil fuels because gas is going up. What's your gas price at?
The Colonial Pipeline thing got attacked, and that's going to send ripples.
For me, gas was $1.
There's also a chip shortage. So I mean that's affecting the automotive industry. Fucking the new Nissan Z has been pushed back. They don't even know if they're going to deliver it. PS5s, they're not they can make them faster, but the thing holding them back is the chip. So I mean that could also be, and it's the same chip shortage that's affecting the PS5s that's affecting the cars.
Yeah, so, I think it's like a domino effect.
Yeah, and so they're saying that the price of cars, that's going to go up too because of the chip shortage. That actually the price of used cars, because the new cars are going to become prohibitively expensive.
I don't know. I want you to take stock in the fact that when you look around, notice that there's some things missing, and like it's not like a thing in like toilet paper. It's like this random shit. And then
I mean, there's not enough truck drivers. There might not be enough people in the workforce right now. I'm Democrat, but I really think there's some credibility to the argument that a lot of the supports that we gave for unemployment benefits might have been too big, too long.
You know what's funny? As I heard someone say something to this effect, they said this. This is funny. So, all right, you work at a shitty job, right? And you get let go because of COVID, and then we give you money that's more money than you were working. And so, for the first time ever, you're not doing the things that you like, and you get paid, and life is good. But you're not going back to the workforce. And the reason you're not going back to the workforce is, one, you weren't getting paid enough, because this is obviously good money, and you didn't like what you were doing. And so, like, what is our answer to this? Cut that shit out and go back to your shitty job. It's like we didn't learn the real lesson. The job that they were at sucked and they weren't getting paid enough. So the thing that they liked was getting paid enough and doing what they like. So our answer to that was, instead of fixing the job or whatever, getting people paid more, it's cut that off. You're forced into a shittier job than before, probably getting paid less.
So as a teacher, we had to find more ways to use technology in the cloud, to create lessons that we could do at a distance. We had to be more efficient, with our time, because we had less of it. And so when we go back to the classroom, those of us that took that opportunity to grow and find new strategies and find new ways of getting work done and find new ways of prepping more quickly and more efficiently. I mean, I'm not going to say our jobs are going to get easier, but it's going to free up energy to focus on other things, differentiation, focusing on individual kids that we see that are having a hard time, and maybe tweaking things for them and giving more individualized attention, basically. Or maybe just more time to fucking relax and de-stress and then come back the next day refreshed. Do our jobs even better because we feel better. What should have probably happened was, job skill training and all that shit for people that were out of work. And by default, you create work in the field of education to train other people to do jobs that are going to prepare us for the future.
But you need people to fucking make the pizzas and stock the fucking shelves.
Yeah, of course.
No, but like it's to take those same people who are making the money off. The reason those jobs are shitty, and the reason why they like doing what they're doing is because they get paid better. So but we need our slaves. Because we need that. Right. We need people to stock our shit. So it's like a conundrum.
People to make minimum wage, or else shit's gonna be super expensive. Yeah, I get it.
And that's where we're at. Though, think about that though. Like
it goes to that gap, right? The disappearance of the middle class. There is no more. There's either super wealthy or super poor.
Yeah.
And that middle class, that middle area is not. It's not. I don't want to say it ever was the norm, but it's not a thing as much anymore. Fuck, dude. I go to our schools and I see our schools, and then the other day I went to Forest Ranch. We were driving around, fucking amazing fucking facilities. This one school had its own semi truck for their fucking band equipment. I was like, get the fuck out. And it was decorated on the sides were all beautifully painted with a big old mural of the fucking team with all their instruments and shit. And it said, something high school, school marching band, whatever, blah, blah, blah on it. I was like, get the fuck up. They have their own semi truck for hauling their shit. We're lucky if we get grass, their fields were beautiful. Their schools were beautiful, big, all the areas around it were beautiful too. There was like a park every other block. I was like, what the fuck is this? Why? What did these kids do to deserve what we didn't get?
Well, it's a rich area. Forest is fucking rich.
Yeah. But my thing is, okay, let's skip the parks and all that, but just the opportunities that they're going to get by being at those schools.
Of course.
What did those kids do to earn those opportunities that we didn't do?
Oh, they were born with the right family.
They were born with, they won the lottery.
Yeah.
And so that there's this idea of inequality, right? So the rich, and it's just the disparity, of where we were at and where those kids are at. It was just kind of like, well, they're going to get to keep that they're going to get to perpetuate that.
Of course. No, and like that's the rub of it all. And I think I've talked about this in other podcasts. Is like we created a system in which there are still kings and there are peasants. And like we just created a system where it's kind of like, oh, you think that you're gonna get out of that.
It's still a caste. Yeah, it's still a caste. And upward mobility is an exception and not the norm. The American dream, we pointed out and we're amazed by it because you don't see it all the time.
And it's because like there's people that are exceptional. Like they were born for whatever reason, they had them genes, they could get out of the muck. And because those few people exist, it makes it okay. But hey, get this. When they had peasants and noblemen, there were badass peasants that did badass shit, and they were elevated. It's the same fucking thing. But this time, you know what? At least I have internet, you know? I mean,
Well,
like that.
The problem now is that we're more aware of it. Back then they could use, religion and stories to tell people this is the way of the world, and just hang on, and when you die, you're gonna go to heaven, you're gonna get a mansion.
Yeah, you're right.
Now we know better than that. Now we could see, maybe not the details of the machinations, but we could definitely see that, hey, there's some people that have way more than they need, way more than their families need, way more than their families will need for 100 years. Why are there other people living like this? Can we honestly say that they were
the problem with saying they have more than they need is because what happens is the argument would then be like, well, they fucking earned it, right? But did they really earn it? They were given the opportunity and they went forward, and then they'll cite that one person who was trash and then grew up and they have everything, right? And I'm like, those are very exceptions, like, I mean, there's a real reality. Like I live here in Michigan. There's a lot of poor people here, and that is what they're going to be. Now, they're going to be slaves for the rest of life.
The big counter argument to what we're saying, though, is, taxing them or regulating income or building unions, making it more difficult for people to make that level of money.
Yeah,
might stifle innovation. And that's, I don't think that's fair.
I think bring back the unions. I think if you bring back the unions, everything will fix itself. Because you still have capitalism.
The unions give voice to the peasants.
Yeah.
Right. And it forces companies to become accountable in their communications with them, and in their fairness, their fair treatment of them. A union could get up and say, well, we're not shitting in bags anymore. You're giving us our fucking breaks, and you're giving us tenure. Because the other thing that Amazon does is they have 10 people, the lowest performing of them gets fired. It's Survivor.
I even do you one better. Is 3 years after that, they create incentives for you to leave. Not money wise, but as in like make it way worse for you. Because what they do is they try not to promote from within. They just hire people. And you know what's funny? Okay, here's the best part. So when Black Lives Matter came out, they were like, fucking Black Lives Matter. They fucking put that shit on their Amazon Prime. But that was just a front. Because who is their number one workforce? Mostly Black people.
It's all minorities.
Yeah. And they don't treat them well. They're shitting in bags. And so like at one instance, you're like, oh yeah, Black Lives Matter. We fucking care about minorities. And in their own fucking place of work, they're treating them like garbage.
Well, so long
not
as
like
I understand, but so long as it's not a policy, they can feign ignorance and say, well,
yeah, oh yeah, it just so happens we have
policy the same to everybody. It just so happens we have mostly minorities working for us.
Exactly.
Or disproportionate amount of minorities.
Exactly. I'm pretty confident if somebody made an issue of it and said, hey, you're fucking treating a lot of Black people like this, it would be a thing. And they would have to then counter it. They would be forced into it. Because right now, that's why they're acting so fucking woke. Is because they don't give a fuck.
The problem with going after somebody like Amazon,
they own newspapers.
Well, there's that. They own lawyers, dude. You don't want to get a fucking defamation lawsuit put on you.
Well, not us.
That for all intents and purposes has unlimited resources to take your ass to court.
No, but like, okay, so like here I am, Black guy A and Black guy B, and we talk to a news outlet and we're the source. The news outlet puts it up there and there it is. And then everybody's all like cancel their Amazon Prime and whatever the fuck. I mean, like if you created a hashtag cancel Amazon Prime, I think that would be the thing. I'm going to do that right now.
Like a cancel electricity.
Well, electricity is electricity.
Not at the level of electricity. I know, but a lot of people use it.
A lot of people do use Amazon Prime, and I am one of them.
Well, I mean,
In fact, I got Amazon Prime.
I would support unions. It might drive up the price of using Amazon, or it might force the guys at the top to take a smaller
Would you pay an
cut.
extra fucking $2 just knowing that someone's not shitting in a bag?
Now here's the problem. If somebody else is doing a shitting in the bag thing, and they'll save you $5.
I'm good with paying extra.
Yeah, but not everybody is.
Then don't
So
fucking do it.
No. It's just basic economic principles. If you
No, you fucking know.
even if you raise the principle says that overall, if you raise the price of something 5 cents, you automatically start locking people out. And so the trick is to price your product in a space where you get enough people, and there's intersecting slopes, right?
Yes.
The sweet spot is where you have the right number of people for the right amount of product that you have, so that you make maximum profit. Again, if one company is using the shitting in the bag, system, and the other one isn't, and the shitting in the bag one is more competitive, they're going to make more money. So we got to create laws about shitting in bags, basically. Here support those unions.
No.
Those unions and all of those companies.
This is how I am. Ever since we had that one conversation about let it happen, this is what you do. Get my glasses on for this one. All right. So look, you create unions, right? It raises the prices. That business fails, right? Then the next business comes along and they're like, hey, fuck, how do we not put ourselves in that situation? What do? Create better systems for people so they don't complain. And then that number 3, so Amazon gets bumped off, it's Bamazon. It's way better than Amazon. People aren't shitting in bags. The prices are better. There you go. You just create a different model. So what has to happen is this fucking help the people. If the business fails, that's what was meant to be. Just like the bailouts. What we fucked up about bailouts is we're like, let's bail these people out. No, what happens is they're supposed to fail. And then somebody gets it.
The problem you're going to get and I think this would come more from the right, is
of course.
And I don't think I don't see it as a valid thing, but I do see this as a counter argument that would be presented. You're attacking somebody's freedom. You're attacking somebody's pursuit of happiness.
Of course.
Because now they're not gonna look at it as, you took, half of Jeff Bezos's tens of billions of dollars of wealth. The dude's never gonna have a problem with money. But the fact that you did it is like you're attacking personal liberties by mandating that he accept unions, and so it's a personal attack. And they're going to say, if you can do that to him, you can do that to anybody.
I agree.
They're not going to see the other side of it. Now, who knows if it's because they honestly believe in that, or if it's because who's paying money to who. I
think this is one of those national issues, and I think we have the government to do it, but it won't be a thing. Is like, hey, force the unions, force every fucking company to have a union, because then we would have a voice, and then like the Republicans could fight it. Who cares?
You're gonna get communism thrown at you.
Yeah. Oh well.
If the state is, because if the state creates a rule or a law about it, it's like they're federalizing what companies can and can't do, and that starts leaning towards communism.
I think unions. I think that's the best way you could do it. The only way, I mean, like, it worked. People, you had a middle class. You took away unions, and then all of a sudden we don't have a middle class, and people are shitting in bags. That wasn't a thing. I mean, the work, once you start federalizing like workers, like, oh, you can't shit in bags, can't do this, then it's another thing. Yeah. And then you're taking away from the main thing here. You want your fucking employees to make money, or they think and feel that they're doing good. They have a good work environment. Just raising minimum wage will not do that.
No.
What you need is a body force within that company. Because like, it doesn't make sense for someone in Florida to make decisions and something
Yeah,
You know, and-
raising the minimum wage is just going to raise the standard of living. It's just going to make everything
Exactly.
more expensive. It does this. It does this.
yeah, it
It's
doesn't do
not at
anything.
different rates. It's going to do this, but then
Yeah.
it just 2 years that happens, and
And
then you
like-
got to raise it again.
Yeah, and I'm thinking
But what
like
you're
with
saying, what you're saying is right. You create better work conditions to where people either don't mind going to work or they want
Exactly.
to go to work. If
Yeah.
they feel valued, man, shitting in a, I don't know how real it is, right? But shitting in a bag or feeling pressure and not feeling job security, feeling the pressure of I better pick as much as I can fucking pick today, or else I might lose my job. Not I better meet a performance expectation. It's I better do as much as I can because I don't know how much the guy next to me is doing.
yeah.
And I'm in direct competition with them.
And like there's no governing force that can figure it out. Only the people that are working there can figure out what's the best for that company. And like, check this out. It's double-edged sword. Say they fuck the company. They're like, oh, we need $500 raises, or we're striking.
No, then they're voting against their own best interest.
And the company would fail.
They want the company. They want
it to work. So they would have to negotiate. And this is a thing that's not happening. Like, it doesn't make sense that only one part of a company is making the decisions. It should be the people who are doing the job. I've once heard a fucking person say that you guys are indebted to us because we're the ones who make the money. You guys are doing the work. We don't need you. And I'm like, well, you actually do. Because doing the work.
There are laws, okay, that prohibit intimidation or what is it? Retaliation against employees that want to unionize.
Yeah,
so that,
of course.
that is protected, but you got to be able to prove it.
Yeah, like if I'm making trillions of dollars, and Steve and 100 people say we got them dead to rights with our 100 lawyers, it doesn't matter.
Yeah.
You're never gonna beat that, even though you're right.
They could push it in the courts for decades.
Yeah. We're gonna union. Meanwhile, they're not gonna have jobs, and they're gonna end up dying. So I mean, like it needs to be a government thing, a mandate. It just needs to be just let the unions be. Every fucking company have a union, and you're fucking done. You can even like say if you have one employee, no, but if you have like 10 employees plus, boom, and that will then change things quite a bit because if you do that, then it'd be like, oh shit, maybe we shouldn't be as big, and then it'd be subsidies, and these companies wouldn't get as big, or they would be big and they would have a union, and then there you go. I could see some manipulation, but I mean, not many people are that bright, even when they're in charge. They're not that bright. So at least you do more good than harm, but people would be fucked. I'm not going to lie. There's smart people out there that know how to keep slaves. They're like, hey, you can unionize, but you got to do what we tell you.
I think you would still have, even if you had unions, you would still have a caste system.
Of course.
But it's just people wouldn't be living dirt fucking poor. They just wouldn't be living as fucking awesome as the people in Elysium,
Yeah, I don't think unions existed for slaves. And I think that's why I think separates slaves from like people. Like you have a union and you have a voice.
Yeah, well, I mean, with slavery,
it doesn't make sense if I go on strike. But if we all go on strike, they'll feel that.
Yeah, no, well, I mean, you don't want to lose people by calling it slavery, right? But I think indentured servitude, or a society that puts people in a position where they kind of need to accept less than what we would want for our people in our society.
Yeah, and it's weird. It's weird. Like we want people to make more money, but we're not thinking right. We're doing this minimum wage thing. They should eliminate that. Give people unions. Like I'm telling you, man, get rid of the minimum wage and then give them unions. That way they will be like, fuck. I mean, I want to pay you $1, but I will lose you all.
You have to leave a minimum wage because there's not going to be a fucking union at the 7-Eleven gas station or something like that.
That's true because you only have like 2 employees.
There's only like 2 or 3 of you.
But if all the 7-Eleven worker, it's 7-Eleven.
Or a mom and pop store or whatever.
That's true. That's true. You're right. I think, unions. But we figured it out, guys.
But it doesn't become a thing where minimum wage is the only way to fix it. No. You're right. Really, really big companies should be checked by the people within them. a country is checked by the people within the country. Our leaders are checked by the voters. I don't see why a company can't operate the same way.
I agree. I gotta go. I gotta take a shit. So,
All right, shit away, dude.
yeah.
Hey,
All right.
you got your bag? Don't forget your bag.
It's got my hands.
Does it say Amazon? Use the Amazon box.
Alexa, hold my shit.
Sorry, I don't know that one.
Yeah, you do. Yeah, you fucking do. All right. Hey, as always, please like, subscribe, fucking YouTube, Podcastforwe. You can see our faces. We're awesome. We're cool. Share. Hey, we're getting shit done. Bring back the unions. Trump assaulted the Capitol. Fucking, pro-abortion all the way. Watch out for the alphabet people. They'll get you. All right. And always, don't be the person you were yesterday. Try to listen to others. Try to form your own union in life and move forward. And always stay frosty.